the risk of infection is still very much there. And if they want to lock down the players and sequester them, that's a whole other question they're going to have to take up with the union, I would think.
In terms of the fans, again, it may depend on where we're talking about because of the reach of the NFL. But at East Rutherford, what would you expect for Giants games, for Jets games?
Right now, I would be surprised. Just conditions as they are now. I've spoken to a bunch of epidemiologists this week. Nobody can forecast accurately 6 weeks out, let alone 6 months or even 3 months out. So they're not prepared. The models aren't built for it. They can spit out numbers, but the numbers are very unreliable. And the reason for that is pretty simple. It's very hard to predict what laws and regulations are going to change. And it's even harder to figure out how human behavior is going to change. Just where I am in Manhattan, the weather was nice last week and the parks were packed, even though there are all these stay-at-home rules in place. So the risk could rise again. And we've heard this story over and over. The more places you allow people to go, the more chance risk rises. So we don't know that yet, and I think that has made it very hard to predict where we're going to be in September. But as conditions are now, I would be surprised if there's fans in the seats. The other thing, too, is the NFL, although I'm sure it wants fans there, is the best equipped to absorb the loss of ticket sales compared to all the other leagues. It just makes so much more money off of television contracts and sponsorships and merchandise sales than any other league. It's close to 75% of its revenue. So, even with the hit of lack of hot dog sales and parking and ticket sales, the league would still be pretty comfortable, I think, financially, relative to other leagues anyway.
Fantastic conversation with Ken Belson of the New York Times. Ken, really appreciate your time. Thank you very, very much.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Oh, what a great guest. Ken Belson of the Times giving us the view from the NFL, which has a totally different standard, as he eloquently pointed out. We'll take a break. More to come as we continue here on a Thursday afternoon.
Call Feinbaum now, 855-242-7285. That's 855-242-PAUL. This is the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Pros. Lowe's wants to help you keep working. That's why we're open for pro business hours 6 to 7 a.m. Monday through Saturday. You'll find the quantities you expect with dedicated pro associates and loaders to help you get what you need fast and load you up curbside. Now, more than ever, we know you need to win every single bid. You can count on Lowe's for special values on pro-trusted brands and savings when you buy in bulk. Save yourself a trip by shopping Lowe'sForPros.com, where we can ship thousands of items to your doorstep or to the job site. Lowe's is open and pro-ready.
Okay, you know how it feels when you've saved enough for that long-awaited home edition? Now imagine an addition on that addition. Whoa. That's the feeling with Capital One, where a new savings account earns an interest rate 5 times the national average. That's right, 5 times, as represented by 5 times more singers. This is banking reimagined. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Rate comparison based on FDIC national rate. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
The one and only Tony.
Gathering at Pensacola Beach is a wonderful family experience. If you thought of having a family celebration or an amazing beach wedding, there's a very special home now available, Casa de Luna. Casa de Luna is spacious with room for large families. It has 9 bedrooms and 8 bathrooms. Casa de Luna is a large private home with a refreshing pool and water views. The pool can be heated for swimming in colder months. Casa de Luna is unique in that the main living area is directly on sand level. It's very convenient. Bedrooms are both on the sand level and upstairs. One bathroom is handicap friendly and another has a new jacuzzi. And there's a large gaming porch with pool table, foosball, hockey, ping pong, and Xbox One. Bicycles are provided. Bring your family to Casa de Luna on Pensacola Beach.
For information, call Casa de Luna owner Tim at 791-6400. That's 791-6400. 791-6400.
Nick Saban has a message for us regarding the coronavirus.
First of all, I hope this message finds you and your family safe and well. On behalf of our program, we want to give thanks to all the medical professionals and caregivers in our state and across the country in these challenging times. Our daily routines have changed dramatically over these past weeks. As we have said to our team, we share the same message to all of you. Please understand the following guidelines of social distancing. We ask that everyone please wash your hands often. Stay at home if at all possible. And when you have to be out in public, make sure you keep 6 feet between you and the nearest person. We are in this together, and as one team, we will get through these difficult times. And together, we look forward to all that's to come, like the opportunity to play college football this fall. But the best and safest way to ensure that happens is to listen to the experts, follow their guidelines, and take care of each other. Stay safe and roll Tide.
I'm Troy Rafferty, and many of you know about my love for sports and my longtime support for our local high school athletes. One thing these fine young people have taught me over the years is this: whether it's on the ball field, in the classroom, or in a court of law, always work your hardest and achieve the best results possible. And that is the commitment we make to our clients and our community.
Levin Papantonio in Pensacola since 1955.
ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Pensacola's home to hometown sports, covering the biggest high school games. UWF football, catching every game of the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. Plus, local sports commentary with the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. And weekend sports talk with Davis Allen and Justin Patrick on the Sports Call. We are local. We are ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Hi, I'm Matt Kenseth. You don't have to be a race car driver to know that life can be full of drama. Some of it you can't control, like mechanical issues, high winds, and rain delays. But there's some drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
You just need to take that first step and find free classes near you and leave the drama for the racetrack.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
The latest sports news is at ESPNpensacola.com and on Facebook at ESPN Pensacola. Plus, watch Chad Brillante, Coach K, and Sports Call live on our exclusive YouTube channel, ESPN Pensacola 1330. The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
On ESPN and the ESPN app.
We welcome you back to our program, and let's check in with Jeff in Columbus, Ohio. Hello, Jeff.
What's going on, Paul?
Jeff, we are doing great.
Speaking of great, that was a great interview you had last night with the Ohio Governor, Mike DeWine. I mean, I thought that went pretty well, don't you?
I can't tell you how impressed I was talking to the governor. I mean, he was funny. He was informative. He didn't sound like your cookie cutter politician, and that's because he really isn't.
Yeah, I could tell you. Matter of fact, I had a couple takeaways from the interview, Paul. I don't think I've ever heard you sound so excited and engaged with somebody from Ohio. I mean, didn't you just say a couple nights ago that certain people from Ohio, you kind of tune out at certain times?
Well, that was only callers, not governors.
Yeah, who were you talking about? I can't remember that night.
That would be you, Jeff.
Why is that, Paul? You always seem engaged when I talk to you.
Jeff, you understand humor, don't you? You're from Ohio. Well, maybe you don't.
Okay. I mean, I was just shocked that you were talking to the governor. You never brought up Urban. You didn't rip on Urban one time and played with that SEC base, my man. I mean, the governor went to a MAC school, so I didn't have to be careful about all the urbanology.
I just thought
he'd have been the perfect guy, man. It wasn't Urban at BG. That's where he went to school. I think the governor, didn't he?
I think he went.
You just held it together.
Remember.
Unlike I've never heard you from somebody from Ohio. I mean, me.
I think he went to Miami. By the way.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the Miami of Ohio. By the way,
it was a great interview, Paul. I'm just, I'm like I say, like you just said. I'm just trying to have a little fun. But Jim, he's been kind of prominent again in the show, and some of the other old school callers, they like to say that the show doesn't really carry like the good old days. Don't you agree? They like to say that.
Oh yeah, that's their tried and true line.
I mean, the more I think about it, Paul, I'm going to put a lot of that blame recently on the host. You want me to tell you why?
Yes, I want you to tell me why.
It just seems like lately, the last maybe year, 6 months to a year for sure, you seem to really like callers that are even keel, very complimentary, and not confrontational. I mean, back in the day when I first started listening to you, I think you truly like to be challenged. I mean, that's what got my attention. You like to be challenged. You like controversial callers, and you like to engage with them. But now it just seems like maybe you're on cruise control, like everybody that kind of is winding down. I mean, what do you think? You're less confident? Do you like to be challenged less? I mean, be honest with me,
Jeff. I first of all, I think I'm more than thrilled any day to engage, and I think we have had. I think the honesty comes out in those conversations, and I believe I'm always transparent and honest when you ask me a question. So I don't necessarily agree with that. I do think I have tried to make the show less polarizing and more palatable for masses of people, as opposed to one caller calling in 25 times.
I mean, when Jim and Legend and Jerome and those boys, the West Georgia Water Boys, I mean, all the guys, I mean, they took you to task a lot of times, my man, and you stood up to it. Now
Jeff, have you ever known me not to try to come back with a reasonably honest answer, even when it involves the people that I work for, the people that I cover?
Hey,
I mean, I think
that's why I like you, Paul, and I can always ask you a question because I feel like you give me an honest answer. But I'm just starting to feel like maybe it's on cruise control a little bit. I mean,
Jeff, first of all, Jeff, asking the host of a program to critique his own performances is challenging. Now, I'm more than happy to do it.
I mean, I'm kind of critiquing you myself.
Well, that's fair.
I'm saying that I think you cater to the complimentary low keel guys.
Anyone in particular?
And I think your show is built on the confrontational guys that challenged you. You liked the challenge back in the day, I think, more than you do today.
Well, at no time, Jeff, at no time during the 5 minutes and 3 seconds you've been on have you really challenged me on very much. You've just bloviated.
I'm not trying to challenge you.
I mean, other than the mention of the governor, which I appreciated, but beyond that, Jeff, I'm not accepting your thesis. Okay.
Okay, that's why we agree to disagree. I mean, I just thought I'd throw that out there because to me that's one of the things. I think you should start encouraging confrontation a little bit more. That's all I'm saying.
I can tell you, Jeff, that I will not run away from that, and I encourage it. There you go.
Okay, good. I like to hear that. Let's get it going on, Paul. Talk to you later, my man. Great interview yesterday.
Thank you, Jeff. That I appreciate. We'll take a short break.
Call Feinbaum now, 855-242-7285. That's 855-242-PAUL. This is the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Guys, waking up over and over to pee is not okay. But now, you can reduce those nighttime bathroom trips with the ingredients in Super Beta Prostate P3 Advanced. We're talking about less urges to pee at night, less bathroom trips during the day, and better bladder emptying.
It's like taking 3 prostate supplements in one.
You can try a full 30-day bottle of P3 Advanced, free. Just pay shipping and handling. No strings attached, no obligations, and no commitments to buy. This is a 30-day supply, absolutely free.
Call 1-800-253-7136.
Super Beta Prostate is the best-selling brand in major retailers like Walmart. But for this no-strings-attached free bottle, you must call now.
Call 1-800-253-7136.
Don't miss out on this unprecedented free offer.
Call 1-800-253-7136. 1-800-253-7136.
For your ESPN Pensacola Sports Headlines, I'm JP. Major League Baseball expects to offer a return-to-play proposal to the MLB Players Association within a week. Teams have begun to encourage players to prepare for a spring training that could begin in mid-June and a season that could start early in July. Although a significant number of hurdles remain and some industry leaders believe June and July return dates are overly optimistic, ownership's approval of a plan and dialogue about specifics with the union would mark two vital steps toward baseball's return from a season so far delayed 6 weeks by the coronavirus. GMs and managers from at least a dozen teams have reached out to players to suggest that they ramp up baseball activities. Those familiar with the conversations, including executives, players, and agents, told ESPN. Some teams have suggested that players prepare for a spring training that could begin as early as June 10th and a season that could begin July 1st. Dates first suggested publicly by former player Trevor Plouffe. The NFL laid out protocols Wednesday for the gradual reopening of team facilities, a process that would begin with select staff members and eventually include players. Team facilities have been closed since March due to the coronavirus, but as state and local governments begin easing restrictions, the league wants teams to be ready to implement the first phase of protocols by May 15th. At that point, Goodell said teams can expect to be advised when their facilities can reopen. The memo made no mention of a previous NFL policy that said no facilities could open until all 32 facilities are eligible to do so, raising the possibility of a staggered reopening around the league. And for your Korean baseball update, the Kia Tigers beat the Kaiwoom Heroes 8-5. The Lot Giants took down the KT Wiz 7-3. The Dusan Bears beat the LG Twins 9-3. The NC Dinos took down once again the Samsung Lions 8-2. And the Hanwha Eagles had an impressive victory over the SK Wyverns 8-4. And for your ESPN Pensacola Sports Headlines, I'm JP. For your ESPN Pensacola Ridiculous Facts, I'm JP. Rumor has it a baseball game in the Atlantic League in 1893, a batter broke his bat and grabbed an axe as it was the only thing to swing around and hit the next pitch in half, where half of the ball went over the fence and they won 2.5-2 in the 11th inning. Quite the walk-off. The home team must provide the referee with 36 footballs for each National Football League game. Just be sure to check the PSI if the Patriots are supplying the footballs. That's your ESPN Pensacola Ridiculous Facts. I'm JP.
Hey y'all, Mother's Day is Sunday and all 3 boot stores in Pensacola, Loxley, and Daphne are open so your mom can look country hot. $10 to $20 off on name brand boots, $5 off on jeans. Each boot store is spick and span, keeping their customers safe and very well dressed this Mother's Day. Your mom deserves to strut her stuff. Pensacola Boot Store is on Pine Forest Road, in Loxley on Highway 59, and in Daphne on Highway 98. Or find them at thebootstoreal.com. Just look for the big red boot.
Don't ever give up.
See, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Is 9 sacks per year good?
You tried to rip J.J. Watt for only having 9 sacks a year. So what do the people say? Is 9 sacks a year good or not good?
77% of the audience said yes. I erred there, Dan. I should have done the last 4 years, and I screwed it up.
Yeah, you really did. Basic math eluded you.
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
ACC Network takes you back to some of the conference's greatest games in prime time.
The biggest win in school history.
Where big plays happen.
Comes out throwing and it's intercepted.
Where stars were born.
He is going to walk in for the touchdown.
And everyone was watching.
An ACC showdown that lived up to the hype.
ACCN Saturday primetime football presented by Geico. Relive 2017 Clemson versus Syracuse. Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern on ACCN and streaming live on the ESPN app.
Welcome back. We continue here on a pretty busy Thursday afternoon. Let's check out Jerry next. Hey, Jerry, thanks for the call.
Hello.
Hey, good afternoon, Jerry.
Hey, I'm sorry. I'd like to know what your opinion is on, that pandemic thing that came out. You've got other people putting out videos trying to poo-poo the COVID situation. You've had conspiracies that Obama was not an American, that Hillary Clinton had a bunch of people murdered, things like that get eaten up. I'd say it's coming from the right wing of the Republican Party, but that's basically really who's in power now. So what do you think that is doing for American confidence in government? What do you think the long-term ramifications of things like that are?
Well, I think ultimately, Jerry, it makes us a more divided nation. And by the way, this has been going on for a long time. It happened while Bill Clinton was in the White House. It's happened since, and really the genesis of this goes back at least 50 years, and maybe even as far back as McCarthyism in the 50s. But what I don't take it overly seriously because and personally, I mean, because I'm a big reader, and I'm not trying to make a speech here, but I really like to hear the opposite side of how I feel about something. I have friends, Jerry, that will only watch and only listen to what they believe in, and I don't think that really helps you formulate too much. As far as the conspiracy theories on the pandemic, I think I've read most of them by now, and they're all based in a grain of truth, but you have to be careful to see where it's going. And I don't believe everything I hear, but I strongly believe, Jerry, this is a serious situation, and it's not about America. It's all over the world.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking about how it's affecting America specifically. You've got
it's affecting it. I agree.
You got one news channel that, no matter what the president does, they're going to compliment him for it, spin it for him. Sure. You got another one that no matter what he does, they're going to attack him for it. Back in the early phases of our country, you had people that had disagreements on politics, like Adams and Jefferson, but they didn't try to undermine people's belief. I mean, what's going on now reminds me of what you read about Nazi Germany with their newspaper back in the 30s in terms of shaping people's beliefs. People eat this stuff up.
Yeah, they do. There's an industry for it, Jerry, and I think it is in part at the root of what's going on in relation to the debate about the COVID and reopening the economy. And I'm pretty neutral, but you didn't ask me my opinion. You asked me what I thought of the media. It's dangerous if you just take everything as gospel.
That's what people seem to be doing.
I think you're right. It's been going on a long time, and that's why I've usually tried to avoid ideological conversations of this program, but it's pretty hard to do considering almost everything. I mean, we're about to get into a similar conversation within the college football world, because whenever they announce that we are going to have a college football season, Jerry, the debate will ratchet up. And you're already seeing the fault lines right now, and I'm dreading it, to be blunt, because I have a pretty good idea where a lot of the conversation will take place, and it will be based primarily on ideology, not on science.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, let me ask you. I mean, how do you consume information?
I try to listen to I'll watch Fox one time, I'll watch CNN one time, but really I can't stand to watch either one of them because they're both so biased. But it just scares me to see how people just take everything and, they won't objectively listen to what somebody else has to say. They're going to take the party line and run with it, period.
Well, I try to guess. I mean, I keep the TV on without the sound a lot because I'll turn it up. And as soon as I see a guest, I'm not talking about a politician, but even a medical guest, I'm trying to figure out what he or she is doing there. And the ones I want to see are those who are academicians who have studied it, not public policy people who are pushing a specific cause or issue. I can't. And and there are plenty of them around. And I live in a house with a physician, so it's a little easier to balance what I hear versus what somebody who has studied it versus what my own conclusions are. I bounce around on this issue because I agree with one party, Jerry, that you can't shut the world down, but I have great concern though if people let their guard down and go right back to where we were and this boomerangs a second time and that would be worse than what we're going through. What we're going through is really bad. But
I expect that boomerang, and I think it is going to be a lot worse because they're not going to just be able to shut it down for the period of time that they've done it this time. They're going to have to extend it to try to fight it off.
I agree because then everything that has already been my biggest regret, and this is going to sound like Pollyanna here, is that this occurred in a presidential election year. Because you can't help it. You have a third of the Senate up. You have the presidential race, and if you follow politics, those are critical fault lines right now based on the disposition of Congress. I mean, there is everything on the line. Hey, thank you for bringing that up. I think it was a really thoughtful conversation. We are coming right back.
Call Feinbaum now, 855-242-7285. That's 855-242-PAUL. This is the Paul Feinbaum Show.
It could be a routine drive to pick up the kids after school or an epic road trip across the country. No matter where your travels take you, we know those miles count. We're Marathon. We have over 5,700 stations across our great nation. Our people are working hard every day to provide you with quality top-tier gasoline to improve engine performance and fuel your life. Marathon, fueling the American spirit.
Every home has things it needs, things that need to be maintained, fixed, or replaced. The Home Depot is here to help you get it done. You can easily find what you need on our app. Order it online with the push of a button and have it brought to your door with free delivery on over 1 million items. We have the essentials you need, the online know-how you may need to do it yourself, and low prices that make it all possible. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
For This Week in Sports History, I'm JP. In 1904, Cy Young pitches the first perfect game in modern baseball for Boston Americans against the Philadelphia Athletics, 3-0. In 1982, Californian federal jury rules NFL violates antitrust laws in preventing the Oakland Raiders' move to the LA Coliseum. In 1987, Mario Andretti sets one-lap speed record at Indianapolis at 218 miles an hour. In 1994, Lennox Lewis knocks out Phil Jackson in 8 rounds for the heavyweight boxing title. In 2002, Barry Bonds hits his 400th home run as a San Francisco Giant in a 3-0 win over Cincinnati. Bonds is the first player with 400 homers for one team and 100 with another. And in 2019, Pablo Sandoval becomes the second MLB player since 1900 to throw a scoreless outing, hit a home run, and steal a base in the same game in the San Francisco Giants' 12-4 loss to Cincinnati. Not too bad for Kung Fu Panda, huh? That's This Week in Sports History. I'm JP.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Nick Saban has a message for us regarding the coronavirus.
First of all, I hope this message finds you and your family safe and well. On behalf of our program, we want to give thanks to all the medical professionals and caregivers in our state and across the country in these challenging times. Our daily routines have changed dramatically over these past weeks. As we have said to our team, we share the same message to all of you. Please understand the following guidelines of social distancing. We ask that everyone please wash your hands often. Stay at home if at all possible. And when you have to be out in public, make sure you keep 6 feet between you and the nearest person. We are in this together, and as one team, we will get through these difficult times. And together, we look forward to all that's to come, like the opportunity to play college football this fall. But the best and safest way to ensure that happens is to listen to the experts, follow their guidelines, and take care of each other. Stay safe and roll Tide.
For This Week in Sports History, I'm JP. In 1904, Cy Young pitches the first perfect game in modern baseball for Boston Americans against the Philadelphia Athletics, 3-0. In 1982, Californian federal jury rules NFL violates antitrust laws in preventing the Oakland Raiders' move to the LA Coliseum. In 1987, Mario Andretti sets one-lap speed record at Indianapolis at 218 miles an hour. In 1994, Lennox Lewis knocks out Phil Jackson in 8 rounds for the heavyweight boxing title. In 2002, Barry Bonds hits his 400th home run as a San Francisco Giant in a 3-0 win over Cincinnati. Bonds is the first player with 400 homers for one team and 100 with another. And in 2019, Pablo Sandoval becomes the second MLB player since 1900 to throw a scoreless outing, hit a home run, and steal a base in the same game in the San Francisco Giants' 12-4 loss to Cincinnati. Not too bad for Kung Fu Panda, huh? That's This Week in Sports History. I'm JP.
I'm Troy Rafferty, and many of you know about my love for sports and my longtime support for our local high school athletes. One thing these fine young people have taught me over the years is this: whether it's on the ball field, in the classroom, or in a court of law, always work your hardest and achieve the best results possible. And that is the commitment we make to our clients and our community.
Levin Papantonio in Pensacola since 1955.
This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, sports call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Coming up on the Sports Drive, well, the Greek Freak might have a different name after today, after having his computer hacked. Be nice on him after you read some of the quotes. And we'll also talk the possibility of Roy Jones and Mike Tyson. What a fight that would be.
Has just become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. Across the middle, it is caught for the first. It's Baldwin shaking free and sprinting down the sideline for the touchdown. His third of the day. Doug Baldwin.
Derek Brooks, who ran back 3 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season, does it to cement the Super Bowl.
Boxing's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
Baldwin beaten. The result has come up on screens that Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American vest, 992 the Gatlin. 992 by the American champion to take gold.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket at Augusta. And this time, his name is Bubba. Scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome into the Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Chad Brillante, another picnic table shirt today for the attire. It's just, one of those days, getting back into the swing. But the wife likes the shirts, It's got the little gator lapel right there. Not looking bad. Nobody cares about what I'm wearing today. JP, how are you doing today? That drink over there looks a little like all natural flavors. It looks healthy from the outside.
Yeah,
it could be.
It's a lot healthier than what I normally
full of
drink.
straight kerosene right there, but it looks with like the coral peach looking. Oh, cosmic stardust. Well,
sounds like a pretty
there you
good
go.
drug. No,
sounds like something you can con people into if you're like a Bernie Madoff into spending like $20 a bottle right there. You're used to this, but have you had cosmic stardust before? It's not that bad. It's
something
got a little
that,
jolt to it right there.
Autumn loves these. This is actually a women's brand, Alana New or something.
Truth coming out here.
So she was like, "Hey, you need to try these." I was like, "Okay." Well, it had my first question: does it have caffeine? Because that's all I really care about. And she said, "Yeah, of course." And it's not that I care, and this is the opposite of what I am, but it's vegan.
Yeah.
Not that I really care about that. Sorry. It has biotin in it, I guess, which is good for my skin.
Okay.
I mean, it's good. I don't care. It has 200 milligrams of caffeine, and it tastes good. Therefore, I will drink it, and that is all that it takes for me to drink an energy drink.
This whole vegan part, though, it's a drink. You know what that means? I saw the same thing. I sent a picture of refried beans, and one just said regular, and the other said vegan refried beans. And I said, I didn't know that there was a bunch of, I was eating like half a pig in there of beans. But it's the way it's processed, I guess.
It's the pig parts. You don't get the pig.
No, it's just they're not anywhere near them. Like it's way back yonder. So pretty much what they're saying is that drink was made nowhere around animals. Now, can you verify that? No. Might have been a household cat. Look, the vegan drink, I'm not really worried about. If you don't need a steak and I buy it for you, then we're going to have a talk, okay?
I do want to make a note real quick of course, with everything going on with the fire, the wildfire over there was someone that texted me today and said, "Hey, you need to check this out." And the P&J did an article about it, I found out.
Mm-hmm.
But they were telling me about it, and then I read this article, so I got a lot more clarity on this. But it was a Domino's general manager in that Pace area right there. Now, remember, with the interstate, anybody that's been through Pace anyway, that's a nightmare traffic just in general. Now that you shut the interstate down and people are having to come right there through 90 and Caroline Street and all that stuff, now I can only imagine how miserable it is. And they said traffic was backed up pretty bad. So from about 2:30 until about 7:30, this general manager of a Domino's was pushing a shopping cart full of water through traffic and handing people waters as he was going through. So, you know what? I had a friend that said that he went through there yesterday, and it took him about 3 hours to get through with traffic. But this guy, he just saw this random guy pushing a shopping cart, and he thought he was selling water. And the guy said, "No, please just take it so the next person will take it. I'm just trying to give these out. I know that everybody's aggravated and trying to make light of a bad situation. So you know what? Dave Gardner, that GM of that Domino's, hats off to you."
Way to go, pal. Look, this is a serious situation. For the people that don't understand, it's one that you don't see a ton of coverage outside of a few media sources. I know News Radio 92.3 has been covering it. The PNJ folks out there are doing a great job of covering it at WEAR too. But one of the things is, if you look at the fire, you're not going to have a ton of people out there. People are running. I mean, I saw a picture of a guy up at a deck taking a photo right there from Perdido. Yeah, because he's like, I'm over like 16 bridges. You're not coming this way. But there's a lot of people out there that are still dealing with it today. And, our thoughts go out to everybody. A lot of people we know, a lot of family members and friends and folks out there in the Milton, Avalon area right off that exit. Everybody dealing with it, Santa Rosa beaches. And, this wasn't just one of those brush fires that went by. A lot of people were posting pictures. They lost a ton of stuff. Some lost their homes. I haven't seen anybody that has lost their life, but we don't know at this point. First off, too, if you were in the thick of things and it happened, more than likely nobody's gone in there to get you. There's no, wormhole. They could just show up like that old guy from Mortal Kombat where you could pop up out of the ground and get to their home. You can't do that. So nobody's gone in there yet. And we need to realize it's thoughts and prayers go out to everybody.
Yeah, I know 17, I think, structures. That could be a lot of things, but 17 structures. I know some homes were lost amongst those, but were gone. And they're starting to get it contained. Hopefully tomorrow, I know there's a 60% chance of rain, but it's in the afternoon. Hopefully it comes through and we get something just to help these guys out. But, again, all the firefighters and first responders out there that have been working, look, basically nonstop trying to get this thing. I have a friend of mine that is a firefighter, and I asked him about it. Did he have to go out there? He said, yeah, we're basically going out there in shifts right now. And I asked him how bad it was, and he goes, it's not like what we're used to seeing around here. Your typical brush fire, sometimes it gets out of hand. I know there was one, I think, in Beulah that was 300 acres. He goes, this is over 2,000. This is something it's almost scary. And he goes, luckily, I don't have any family around there, but people were able to get out, and that's the most important thing. But it's tough because Mother Nature's not really helping you out right now because you know what? We've had beautiful weather.
Yeah.
The humidity's been down, which is great for us. We're used to all that humidity, but that's not good news when you're trying to fight a fire. So, just thoughts and prayers go out to everybody affected, but also those first responders as well.
The possibility of a fight getting two big names is always tough because you have to have guys to agree to fight on one place. A lot of times, weight classes will change. You might be a lightweight that's moved up, put on a couple extra pounds. One guy's coming off a couple fights. He's younger. The age can differentiate 20, 30 years sometimes. But Roy Jones Jr., right here from Pensacola, pound for pound, one of the best. And I still believe he's going to win the greatest Pensacola athlete bracket that we have. He's already into the finals. Now we're waiting on the 2-versus-3 matchup that's going on right now. And that's a good one because you have a situation with two guys in Derek Brooks, favorite player right there. Who's our favorite player? Derek Brooks versus Emmett Smith. And Emmett, is the kind of guy that his accolades speak for themselves. Co-host Emery Smith throughout the time, his brother, played in the NFL himself and also running back with the Clemson Tigers. Emery lives here, breathes here. A lot of his family is still Pensacola. Emmett is from Pensacola, but he calls Dallas is home. He's that's been the thing out of his mouth. And look, we're going to root on. I still root for Emmett. I don't root against him. But he doesn't call Pensacola his home. He lives and breathes. He doesn't breathe
here, though.
Today, breathing here is what's going on in the news. That's a vital thing to our lives. If you're breathing here, that's a good thing. But I have to say, though, that I believe that Derek Brooks, for what he's done, he's right on that short list of the Roy Jones, the Bubba Watsons, the Derek Brooks, the Fred Robbins, that Jerry Pates, that have invested their time back in this community. And a ton of people have. I mean, you see Joe Duran out there golfing. You'll see guys, Adron Chambers doing things. He had a yoga class going on, which was pretty cool. People all over this town. Reggie Evans. But the list can go on. But we know Derek Brooks, for years and years, gives back. The charity he does. The foundation. Studer 55, working directly with Derek. And remember, he's another minority owner right there of the Pensacola Blue Wahoos with Bubba Watson, guy that invested in the team and is coming back. And he lives in Tampa and goes back and forth. But, a guy that just has meant so much. And right now, currently, a couple hundred votes coming in. And Derek Brooks currently, now we have 12 hours left, but has a 58 to 42% lead. So we expected this one to be close. Like Justin Gatlin, one of the world's fastest men, we get it. At one point was the world's fastest. But when you're going up against Roy Jones Jr., you're not going to win.
Yeah, forget
physically and literally. And I mean physically and also when it comes to a fan poll. But for Emmett Smith and Derek, this was going to come down to a lot of people voting with their heart or voting with the accolades. Because I think, from a football perspective, you're out of towner and you see this, I think Emmett wins because Derek was one of the greatest linebackers. You could argue, I would say Ray Lewis was the best I ever saw. Lawrence Taylor. You can argue with Mike Singletary's. And then you start dating back, before that. And a lot of the ones, the names like Ray Nitschke's that come up and guys like that. But I think Derek is on that short list as well. But Emmett is the all-time leading running back of all time in the history of the NFL. And I think for that, most people, if they just see the straight-up vote, they're going to go with Emmett. But the people that have born and raised here would probably go Derek. And that's what you're seeing today, 58% to 42%. This is our second closest one we've had so far since the Doug Baldwin versus Josh Donaldson bracket, which you could go either way, flip a coin, different sports, but both have had their MVP to most receptions in a Super Bowl championship. Who do you like? I mean, based on we look 58 to 42%.
Well, you know that I grew up here my entire life, and that's why I love Roy Jones Jr. I think he'll win anyway. But regardless, just for what he means to Pensacola, and the way that he's embraced Pensacola, much like the way that Derek Brooks has embraced Pensacola, and everybody's known that. Look, watching Derek Brooks and watching him in the Super Bowl and things like that, and just how he takes this community under his wing and does whatever he can to help out and help others. I mean, we've seen him with Fred Robbins helping out as well. And for Emmett, listen, it's nothing against Emmett, but he claims Dallas. I mean, he does, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not faulting him for that. He has a field here named after, for Escambia. I know he donated some money when Escambia went to the playoffs this year to go to the state finals to help them get there and everything, and that's awesome. But it comes down to, I know it's the greatest athlete, but I really don't care. I think it's people that you have to put the Pensacola side of this in here, and just because they were here shouldn't make them move on. Now, Emmitt Smith is the greatest running back. I mean, how do you argue that with what he was able to do and the stats that back it up and everything? I'm not arguing that at all. But when we're talking about the Pensacola, when you put the Pensacola side of this in here, I got to go Derek Brooks. I loved watching Derek Brooks. I like everything about him, the way he handles himself, just how he puts himself in this community. And he doesn't put himself in the community for people to come go, oh my God, you're Derek Brooks. He does it because he wants this community to be better and better and better, like Roy Jones and all those other guys, Bubba Watsons, Jerry Pates, everybody, Fred Robbins and those guys. They invest in this community because they love this community, not because they want their name in lights. They don't care about all that. They don't want all that. I mean, it's crazy. One of my first, or not one of my first games, but taking on one of her first Blue Wahoos games, we sat behind Bubba Watson, and it was like, what are you doing? Like, why are you down here just sitting with normal fans? And so you just talk to him and you can have a conversation with him. He's just a normal old guy. He just wants to live a normal life, and he loves Pensacola. And that's what I look at Derek Brooks. It's like I said, it's nothing against Emmett. I understand he has records that will probably never be broken, not even close, unless Frank Gore plays until he's 65, which he might. But you know what? Derek Brooks embodies Pensacola, and that's why I choose him.
And Roy Jones, one of those guys that is still 50. He had retired, but he's still around here.
He never retires.
No, he never retires. He's square ring promotion with Island Fights. Him and Dean have done a number of fights. I had a chance to call one at the Bay Center and have an opportunity. Eric Baker and some of the guys, R.J. Summerlin, the guys that have come in the studio with us, part of the crew that have helped him, some of the boxers, MMA fighters that have worked with him, and the possibility of Roy Jones versus Mike Tyson, and it could be here in Pensacola. I mean, it's not a for sure thing, but if that happened, that would be awesome. I mean, I've lived here for now, I'm going on about 9 or 10 years, and started a family here, got a home, want to make Pensacola part of, I mean, I don't look Pensacola. I don't know what that is, actually, because there's so many different people coming down to the beaches. But I will say, though, most people would say, yeah, spiky hair, more of a fist pump, somebody up in the Northeast. I'm not. I'm down here. Deal with it. But I will say that from a standpoint of Roy Jones and these guys, to watch that, to have that coming, because that's, I mean, if that happened, possibly the two greatest boxers pound for pound in the history of the game. You can argue, obviously, Muhammad Ali and what he's done, and he changed the culture more than just boxing inside the ring. But we've had the Mean Lean Grilling Machines and George Foreman's and Evander Holyfield's, but many would argue Roy Jones and Mike Tyson are the two greatest right there, with Muhammad and some of the other guys, Sonny Liston and the ones before, but Rocky Marciano. I will say, though, Roy is a guy, though, that is in good enough shape right now to fight. I think he's 52. And you got Mike now, right around the same age. What, he's 50 now, 51, 50? I mean, they're both like the same exact age, and they both look like that would be an awesome fight. It wouldn't be like two guys that just saw ARP fighting in a parking lot over who got the dinner reservation at 3:30.
53.
Okay, 53. So there you go. Look, this would be an awesome fight, and it wouldn't just be a fight for here. It would be a fight worldwide. I mean, if the traction that you're going to get this week at UFC 249 over one of the guys that most people have a hard time pronouncing his name going in this fight, everybody's going to be glued to their TV if they can watch this, just because sports will be back. I watched two guys in some country that I was trying to make out the language, but it looked like it was going to get a warrant sent to my house, so I didn't. But these two guys in a slap, did you see that? The Ultimate Slap Championship? Like two 6'7", 400-pound behemoth guys.
It's in the gulag.
Powder it up a little right there. Like they going out for a walk on the town with their cane and whoosh, right across. And this thing.
I used to call that a Saturday night, but that's fun.
You did. And then it turned to 5 to 10 Saturday nights looking for a visit. But I will say, for a guy like Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, how great would that be? How cool would that be? And it's doable. We're not just throwing fairy tale numbers together. They actually were going to fight back in the day. Now, the report for an estimated $40 million back in 2003, according to Andre Ward. Instead, the four-time world champion went with Antonio Tarver in the lightweight unification fight. So, Iron Mike versus Roy Jones, though, from a world of boxing, doesn't get much bigger than that. That'd be awesome. I hope this happens. I'm like a fan just rooting that this happens. Try to get Roy back on here to see if he's probably not going to give anything on this right now. He doesn't have to. This just came out today, that the possibility. Look, everything on the internet's true. Just go with that.
Well,
during these tough times right now.
See how much it takes, and if a lot of people start hyping it up, then you're like, all right, let's make this happen. If not, then you're like, all right, let's move on.
Coming up here at 5:30, we're going to talk some Major League Baseball. KBO right there with
3-0.
Greg Litton. My Doos and Bears?
My NC Dinos. No, your Doos and Bears are 2-1.
Winning right now. Better than what Cardell Jones did in the last couple of weeks. And then we'll also talk Giannis, who seems like a really nice guy, the Greek freak, and nice to his teammates. Had to work hard. Didn't play basketball until he was about 15 or 16. But today, he can block any shot, but he can't block a hacker, apparently, because clearly somebody was not on their computer early this morning when some of these things that we can't say on air were tweeted out. We're coming back for more Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, Blab TV.
Every home has things it needs, things that need to be maintained, fixed, or replaced. The Home Depot is here to help you get it done. You can easily find what you need on our app, order it online with the push of a button, and have it brought to your door with free delivery on over 1 million items. We have the essentials you need, the online know-how you may need to do it yourself, and low prices that make it all possible. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Though we're apart these days, we're sharing more. So, at Geico, we'd like to say thanks. Thanks for sharing your savage dance moves. Thanks for sharing your DIY haircut fails. Thanks for sharing your inner lip sync star. Now, it's our turn to share with the Geico Give Back, a 15% credit on car and motorcycle policies for current and new customers. Because we're committed for the long haul, the 15% credit lasts your full policy term. Visit geico.com/giveback for more info and eligibility.
Bowling is a sport that will last you a lifetime, and at Cordova Lanes on Airport Boulevard, every night there is something exciting happening. Like on Tuesday and Thursday, it's penny a pin. Bowl 100, pay $1. Or how about starting your weekend off right by reserving a lane for just $25 at Moonlight Bowling. Enjoy a fresh-made pizza and the lowest pitcher prices in Pensacola. So what are you waiting for? It's time to roll your way into Cordova Lanes and experience fun like never before.
An auto policy from State Farm gets you collision coverage. And this radio ad from State Farm gets you coverage of this beloved 90s hit.
I hit a car. I hit a car. I hit a car. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. My agent's gonna help me.
For more coverage, visit statefarm.com.
ESPN Radio proudly recognizes National Military Appreciation Month, presented by Navy Federal Credit Union.
Before he was a Hall of Fame coach in the NFL and before his pro football playing career, Tom Landry left the University of Texas to join the U.S. Army Air Corps and became a B-17 pilot during World War II. Landry flew 30 combat missions, many deep into enemy territory in Europe. After serving, Landry returned to Texas and starred on the Longhorns Championship Sugar and Orange Bowl teams.
No one is more reliable than you, the brave men and women of the military. Whether you're on active duty or a veteran, you're always there for us. That's why Navy Federal Credit Union has been there for you since 1933. Now more than ever, we want to thank you. So we're saying it by offering special deals on credit cards, car loans, and certificates. Go to NavyFederal.org/celebrate to find out more. It's just a small token of our appreciation for our reliable military members. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
Like all of us, small businesses are being affected and impacted by these uncertain times. But we will get through this together. When you can, please try to support your local restaurants, bars, or any other establishments that are still open for carry-out or delivery.
The following businesses continue to serve their communities and customers by remaining open, and they need your support.
Moe's Southwest Grill, open for pickup and delivery.
We do sports, and that's all we do. We're your hometown sports station, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back. Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. Still some time right now to get to our Facebook page at ESPN Pensacola and vote for the final four. It's down to Derek Brooks and down to Emmitt Smith in our 2 versus 3 matchup. Right now, currently, with some... It's very close. Derek Brooks has 58% of the vote, Emmitt with 42%, and... probably will come down to the wire on this one. Derek, the possibility, would move on to face Justin Gatlin in the finals. Started with 16. Or it's going to come down to Emmitt and Roy, which a lot of people had as the 1-2 seed matchup. But when somebody was like, hey, you know they're going to win, man. Josh Donaldson is not going to be. I'm like, you know what? We got 8 weeks, 10 weeks without sports, so you need to can it. That's exactly what we did. And we had fun with it. And people weighed in. We appreciate you guys. But still time to vote. If you want Emmitt to win, want Derek, go to the Facebook page and be part of it. 850-623-1330 is the number. NFL schedules getting released. They're going to do the big, big fireworks celebration tonight for schedules. That's what it's come to. I mean, look, the KBO completely juked me. They gave me a midnight. I could stay up to midnight. I made that game. It's a quick game, quick pitched. Got out of there in 2 hours, 20 minutes. Went to bed around 2:30, 2:40. Capiche, could do that. Drop the capiche on it, You know it's important. But these 4:30 games? Now, some of you out there listening are like, son, for 25 years I've been getting up at 4, taking the shower.
It's my dad.
Yeah, you know what? That's great. I envy people like that. But your dad probably also goes to bed at about 8:39, right? That sounds about right. My dad was
He used to work out there at Ascend, so
Yeah.
he had to be at work at 5 o'clock. So he did for 43 years. So it's just,
Yeah.
your internal clock won't go away.
My dad, our conversations, my first year in college, when we'd go out, or let's for purposes of, I was a 21-year-old junior in college, but I would come back at about 3 o'clock, and when I'd be coming home, because Orlando not too far from Melbourne, so it's like an hour and 15 minutes. So on the weekends, sometimes I would go visit a couple friends, and we'd be coming back around 3:34, because if you've been in college or you're around college kids and they're back right now at home for the quarantine, you notice that they probably don't go to bed anytime before 2 or 3. College people just don't do that. You're used to it. You set your clock, you go out, you party, you do what you need to do, and you probably don't go to bed. And then you adjust when you have life and jobs and kids and things like that. But I would be walking into the house about 4:15, and my dad would be getting ready to go out fishing because they'd start their day on the fishing boat early. He was with the Real Gator Contender fishing team. And I'd be like, good night. He'd be like, good morning. And that would be the conversation. But the 4:30, you either have to pick, is the rest of your day going to be tired? Or you're either going to have to pick, is the rest of your day going to be tired? There's no middle ground. Like anything, either go big or go home. They could have gone 6 or 7, or they could have gone midnight. But they conned me into wanting to stay up every time. Now I have to record them, and then I get the highlights already. And since it's the only thing going on, they give you one of the da-na-na, da-na-na on the phone, and I already know. I don't need to watch my Doos and Bears win when I already know they won by 4. Don't need that.
Well, I've got an update now.
4:30 again tonight, isn't it?
Well, the thing is, you can watch it at 2 o'clock. That's what I've been doing.
You can?
Yeah, you watch it at 2 p.m. I've been doing that every day. That's what I told you.
But but the game's already been played, right?
Yeah.
See, that's like watching I tried that with the Open Championship in golf. Like the final round that's already been, and it doesn't work today with all this.
It works because it's not covered like our normal sports. Like if the Red Sox and the Yankees were playing at 4:30 in the morning, that would be all over. The coverage would be there. The KBO, there's only so much coverage they get at all. So I watch it at 2 o'clock, and I mean, I already know who wins anyway because I put it in my sports break update.
Yeah.
The Korean baseball update. Here you go, whatever. And I probably butcher some of the names, but you know what? I'm giving it my all. But no, I do want to give a shout out. My NC Dinos are 3-0. We swept the Samsung Lions, and we're playing this weekend against the LG Twins. I mean, we're on a roll right now. Dinos, baby.
Not giving you anything for that. But I will say, though, that
you can't naysay. You have no idea. None of us know about
no.
it. I can't talk
Aaron Altair.
trash.
Aaron Altair, baby.
There you
Tyler
go.
Saladino, Mike Wright.
I didn't know this.
Just get
Korean
rocked by
baseball,
the Red Sox
you
when he
can
played
only
for the
have
Orioles.
3 foreign players.
Oh, really?
That you can only have 3 foreign players, and they can't play the same position. I saw the new rules.
Isn't it funny when we say that, immediately our brain goes to something else, but it's the 3 foreign players are, one of them is named Mike Wright.
the Americans. Tyler Saladino.
And clearly, and honestly, watching more of these games, they look more foreign than when some of the players come over here. Because, I mean, Major League Baseball is a melting pot of athletes. 51% of the game is international now.
Yep.
I mean, you get players from all over. I mean, you might have a starting pitching staff that's a Rodriguez, Hernandez, De Soto. Like, every guy came from the islands. And a lot of players today, you don't get any of the Caribbean or Latin American players in the Korean League. That just doesn't happen. Culturally, that doesn't work. But you do for Mike Wrights. Some of these guys that couldn't cut it with a 5 ERA on Baltimore.
They had
Didn't help Buck Showalter-Skaz out there.
They had Adam Jones on and interviewed him during the game. Who does Adam Jones play for right now?
I know that he last played for the Arizona Diamondbacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is he still with them?
The Orcs Buffaloes in the Nippon League.
Wow.
I did not know he went over there. But they were interviewing him, asking him about it, and he said, listen, I got to be careful. This whole quarantine thing, he goes, the cuisine over here, it's fantastic. And you know what? They were asking him why he went over there, and he said, look, I ran my course. I get it. He goes, I had 13 years in the big leagues, and I asked my wife. My wife grew up in Paris, so she understood the culture and everything over here as well. And so I got my kids over here. He's got some young kids, and he's still getting paid. And he said it's a lot of fun. You know, people look at him a little bit differently here. He's just a guy in the big leagues.
Yeah.
Over there. He's almost like a superstar.
Eric Thames came back looking like a superhero. He had his arms like ripping through the sleeves, and then they tested him. But I will say, you can make a career out of there.
And tested him
like
more
one
time.
of the bad guys from like Rookie of the Year. Looking at the NCAA enforcement on Kansas, they said the violations egregious and severe, which probably is. So they told them that they have to sit out their center for a half. That's not at this point right now. They actually have talked about the collegiate model, and Bill Self and assistant coach Curtis Townsend embraced the.
I knew it was bad news.
Adidas employees and consultants for the high-profile kids. There was a lot of guys on that list when they talked about it, and they're charged with a level 2 and one level 3 violation related to football under David Beatty. David Beatty got a win when he was there at Kansas, so that was bringing up some red flags.
Not Nike.
What if no? Adidas doesn't have the manpower that Phil Knight does.
Nike never would have got busted for that.
Yeah, Nike. Where a kid can wear Jordans, and where an investor winds up in the trash. No, that's not their slogan. But
close enough.
I might for saying that. Looking at David Beatty, though, there was some red flags that went up. To me, the investigator sort of kicked dirt when he said this. But he got on the mic and he said, the first thing that really just completely made us aware of what was happening at Kansas is David Beatty walked in here and he got 2 wins with the Kansas football program in one season. And at that point, we knew something was going on. It's over with. I mean, it was like, how you cannot go 2-10 at Kansas without drawing the red flags.
No.
And, they clearly knew at that point something was up.
Game over.
So send in Les Miles with his eating grass and having fun with the hands. And
Les Miles did come out today and say there's going to be football. Not that that's news, but
that's not. I don't know what to think of that.
In Kansas, I guess it would be the right area. I mean,
it would be a good comeback to that. Hey, Les, how many days for clock management on this do we have? Oh, don't. No.
Eat some grass.
Not me. Oh, I don't know how to do that, clock. Not me. I'm going to run out of time here. No, I would say.
Nothing to say. It's Kansas.
Yeah, look, it's hard to go over violations right now when the conversation's still about whether we'll have sports. Like, you just had the season canceled, and Kansas was going to be the number 1 of all seeds, too. They were going to get the number 1 overall seed, more than likely, unless they completely butchered the Big 12 tournament. They had just beaten Baylor. They'd moved their way up. They had a good team. And when Azubuike played, they were even better inside.
You just want to say Azubuike.
No, it's not true. I'll say Budenholzer if I want to do that. Looking right now at the story, though, we'll continue to follow it, but the enforcement staff at Kansas basketball program committed egregious and severe rule violations that significantly undermined and threatened the NCAA college model. That's called Tuesday in college hoops. We're coming back for more. Except for UWF, everyone's clean.
Just felt there's a huge need in Pensacola to bring foot and ankle services, specifically orthopedic foot and ankle services, to this area. There's so much growth in Pensacola. I wanted a freestanding orthopedic foot and ankle center to do this, and as far as I can tell, this is the only one really in the country that's freestanding. Most orthopedic surgeons are part of a multi-specialty group. So we offer on-site x-rays, on-site CT scan, and on-site MRI. They can come to one place.
Visit NielsenOrthopedics.com to reserve your appointment today.
For 30 years, Thomas Home Corporation has proudly helped families build their ultimate dream home. If you're looking to customize your home, we are currently building throughout Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa counties, and we can either build your home in one of our subdivisions or even on your own lot. Our team works with you to guide you through each step and decision in the process. Builder of the 2019 American Dream Home and Builder of the Year, Thomas Homes Corporation has built quality homes at an affordable price since 1990. Begin the process today and become one of our proud homeowners at thomashomescorp.com.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
It's time for some straight talk. Even though most live sports are on hold now, big wireless companies haven't stopped playing games. They're always trying to lock you into overpriced contracts. With Straight Talk Wireless, there are no contracts. It runs on America's best network, same as the big carriers, but you save up to 50%. $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G. You might miss sports, but don't play games, you'll lose. Straight Talk Wireless. No contracts, no compromise.
Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, but there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. Learn more at wearebroadcasters.com/hope, furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Pros, Lowe's wants to help you keep working. That's why we're open for pro business hours 6 to 7 a.m. Monday through Saturday. You'll find the quantities you expect with dedicated pro associates and loaders to help you get what you need fast and load you up curbside. Now, more than ever, we know you need to win every single bid. You can count on Lowe's for special values on pro-trusted brands and savings when you buy in bulk. Save yourself a trip by shopping Lowe'sForPros.com, where we can ship thousands of items to your doorstep or to the job site. Lowe's is open and pro-ready.
You can watch Chad on the Sports Drive live right now on our YouTube channel at ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Play that shit again, tell them that you like that line. DJ turn it up, better DJ bring it back. Tell the DJ turn it up, better DJ bring it back. Tell the DJ turn it up, better DJ bring it back. Tell them play that shit again, tell them turn up the bass. DJ turn it up, better DJ bring it back. Tell the DJ turn it up, better DJ bring it back. Tell the DJ turn it up, better DJ bring it back. Tell them play that shit.
And welcome back, Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. I'm sure that last song was not his walk-up song when he played, but he is.
No, it was not.
You know, after a couple of Dragon Juices, though, you never know. I've seen our good friend Greg Litton joining us, former major leaguer with the San Francisco Giants, and kind enough to make time for us down here. Greg, we appreciate your time and hope everything is going nice and easy for you, as many people watch 75-degree weather and sunshine from their homes these days. But I hope you're getting out, and I'm sure you are, and good to talk to you, my friend.
Well, I tell you what, Chad, it's been a lot worse than I expected, and I never realized. I've always enjoyed going to the gym, but I tell you what, I'm really appreciating it now. And this old body, I've been trying to jog some, and my body wasn't ever made for running, really. at least not very fast, and now it just hurts. So I really miss being able to go to the gym, I can tell you that.
Well, I wanted to ask you that because you were a utility guy, which any team like a Craig Biggio, and everybody knows the value of a utility player as well as a guy that's well-rounded. You were good with the glove, a consistent hitter. But I did look up the other day because we were checking out the greatest Pensacola athletes of all time, and you know your name was on the list. You didn't beat out Roy Jones, I'm sorry, but when we were looking at all the names, you only had one stolen base in your career. And I want to ask you, because first off, let me also make sure to let you know that I have a hard time right now. I'm out of breath. They said one of the signs of the coronavirus was running short breath and fatigue. Well, all I did was run downstairs to grab a quick coffee during the break and run back up the stairs, and they thought I might have had the corona. So I want to preface by saying that before I make fun of you for one stolen base. But, Greg, when you had one stolen base, do you remember it? Because when you have one of something, like Joe Namath or Joe Theismann was on yesterday talking about a 1-yard punt, do you remember that like it was yesterday?
Oh, it's a funny story, too, and I can tell you every second.
Well, we have all the time without sports right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, a funny story. We were in L.A. Earlier in the year and playing the Dodgers, and I love Eddie Murray. Eddie and I just kind of hit it off, just kidding and messing with each other before games, during the games I played. And I was on first base, got a base hit off my old teammate, Dennis Cook, who we played minor league ball together for years. Great guy, but just one of those lefties I just absolute owned. And I'd gotten a base hit, was on first base, and Cookie throws over. Now, we're in August, all right? And Cookie throws over like 3 or 4 times in a row. And I go, Eddie, for crying out loud, you guys are the Los Angeles Dodgers. I said, do you guys not have a scouting report? And he was like, what, Lit? And I said, Eddie, not only do I not have a stolen base, I don't even have an attempt this year. All right? And so he started laughing. So he goes, timeout. And he walks about halfway to the mound. He goes, Cookie, throw it home. He's not going anywhere. So it kind of became a running joke with me and Eddie after that. Well, our third base coach, Bill Fahey, we called him Pooch. Everybody on the field heard it. It was kind of funny. And so after that, Pooch would put the steal on every time I got on first base with Eddie over there. And I'd tell Eddie, I'd be going, ooh, all right, I got the steal sign. Oh, I'm going this time, Eddie. And then he'd wipe it off. And I'm like, son of a gun. and Eddie would just laugh. And it just became a running joke. Well, the last game of the season, we were playing the Braves. And I'm pretty sure Steve Avery was pitching, but it was a lefty. Doesn't matter. And we needed a couple base runners in the 8th for me to get up in the 9th. And it was a close enough game, to get up in the 8th, because if we're leading or, actually, I don't even remember the score, but it was a close game. And I went down and sat next to Roger Craig in the 8th inning, and I told him, I said, Roger, and I think maybe I was leading off the 9th or something. And I told Roger, I said, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you ahead of time. And I was popping off, but I said, I'm going to get a base hit. And I said, you haven't given me a steal sign all year, so I'm just going to go. I'm just telling you straight up front, I'm going to get a base hit and I'm going to take off. And Rogers, he didn't believe me. And he's like, oh, get away from me. And, and basically ran me off. And sure enough, 9th inning, I let off, got a single. First pitch, I just, lefty. The only way I was stealing is just first move. And so as soon as he probably just flinched, and I took off, stole second, and made it. That's my only, and I would say that was my, I guess I was 1 for 1 in my career at stolen bases. Every other time, Roger never gave me a stolen base sign in 4 years in San Francisco. I got thrown out a couple times on hit and runs, and you got a lefty on the mound with a hit and run. Well, you can't get picked off, especially when you're my speed. So you're not going to make it. And anyway, so it was kind of funny. I called the Dodgers. We had a day game, and I left a message for the night game in Eddie's locker that, I got one more bag than he did that year or something like that. And the funny thing about it, the next year, we opened up at home with the Dodgers and I had a one of the bags, and I signed it, and I put number 1 and had it sitting in Eddie's locker when they got there that day, the first game of the season. So it was pretty funny. But yeah, so my one stolen base is very memorable.
That is a memorable story, and yeah, that's if anybody that has that one. But you know, I like to be a glass half full kind of guy. So you just tell people, look, nobody ever got me out whenever I try to steal bases. That's all you have to say.
Exactly.
You don't have to.
I was 100. I was 100%, Chad. You can't get much better than that.
That's right. Like my ERA, I never had any numbers to it, but that's also not good on the other side. Looking at the situation with Willie Mays yesterday at his 89th birthday, he's a legend of the game and a guy that when it comes down to the short list of baseball, and baseball is a hard sport to pick the number 1 overall player. A lot of people would say Tom Brady winning that 6th ring is the greatest quarterback, or you know, in basketball, Michael Jordan. You can argue Kobe, but it usually goes to Michael in The Last Dance, and that's made some people have some fun with it. But in baseball, you can talk whatever time frame you're from. Babe Ruth, talking about Willie Mays, the Stan Musials of the world, the guys like Mickey Mantle and Ty Cobb and Ted Williams, and then Barry Bonds. I know that, you know, obviously what goes with the baggage, but he has 7 MVPs to 3, which is the most after that. Mike Trout's today, all great players, but 24-time All-Star. In light of Willie's birthday this week, and he was a Giant too, Greg, is he the greatest baseball player in your mind of all time?
I personally, I think I would put him as the number 1 all-around player. I still think the best pure hitter with power and everything was Ted Williams, but as far as an all-around player, Willie Mays, to me, I don't see how you can argue those numbers, how awesome. I mean, he was, and to do it that long. And I'll tell you what, Chad, I was very blessed to play in San Francisco and get to meet and hang out with Willie quite a bit. Funny guy. One of the most impressive things, I was just thinking in my head, I've always been wondering, I never look it up. Back when I was playing, and it was spring training of 92. So Willie Mays would have been 61 years old. And we had I'd come off a knee injury. Usually guys like me made the road trips from Phoenix to Tucson. We didn't skip those games. The guys like Will Clark, Matt Williams, and those guys stayed home. They didn't make the hour and a half bus rides. But I was coming off hurting my knee the year before, so I wasn't quite ready to play. So I stayed back with Matt Williams and Will Clark and a bunch of guys, and we were going to basically take batting practice, take ground balls, all that, and then we were done for the day. And Willie Mays is watching with his penny loafers on, his slacks, and like a golf polo shirt. And after we finish hitting, Willie wants to swing. Now, he's in his penny loafers. He's 61 years old, Chad. And he goes, somebody give me a bat. And we're like, Willie, come on, man. Are you sure you're going to get hurt? And dude had arms the size of I mean, they were like just massive. And he grabs a bat. Matt Williams, he goes, who's got the biggest bat? Matt Williams hands him a 35-inch, 33-ounce bat. All right, now that's a pretty big bat, you know, a wooden bat. That's probably one of the bigger in the league.
Yeah.
He grabs this bat, and he's whipping it around, Chad, and just twisting, and he goes, this is the biggest bat y'all got? This is a toothpick. Come on, man. You know, and he's got that funny, you know, voice. He's funny. And he gets in the batter's box and just starts unleashing, just swinging. Whoa. And we're like, he didn't warm up, didn't stretch, nothing. And at 61 years old in Scottsdale, Arizona, he didn't hit any out, but he hit some, he after getting loose, he only took about maybe 15, 20 swings, but he hit a line drive off the left center field fence about 360, 370 at 61 years old in penny loafers. Still one of the coolest things I've ever seen and got to be a part of.
That's cool. And getting, I know Willie McCovey and the Willie Mazes of the world, that's pretty awesome to have that opportunity right there. Greg, the KBO League, real quick, you know, your former teammate Matt Williams is one of the coaches. I don't know what he was. He looked like he was wearing some Yard Oakley shades out there, like he was doing some trimming. But, you know, Matt is a guy that played for a long time. He's now in the league. There's a lot of names popping up, though, that we didn't know. Adam Jones. JP was just telling me Adam Jones, a guy that was a 7-time All-Star when he was out there in Baltimore and all his career. Now he's in the league, but people are popping up left and right out there. Have we learned anything, though, from the Korean Baseball League,
Different
in your
league.
opinion? What?
The Nippon League.
He's in the, okay.
Yeah,
close.
not in the Korean League.
All right, well, close. That would have been ignorant. I almost said close enough. But no, I mean, but I just did, actually. But so, yeah, I said it, folks. But when it comes down to the league out in KBO baseball that a lot of us are watching for the first time, do you feel that we're learning anything from this in order to be able to play Major League Baseball? What is your take as a former major leaguer on social distancing in a sport that a lot of people can?
I tell you, I'm the worst one to ask about this, Chad, because I'm one of these. I really, you know me. I'm not politically correct. I don't mince words. I just give you my opinion. I think this has been way overblown. I think playing sports. I think certainly the players. I couldn't figure out why golf ended their tournaments. If there's no fans there, I mean, you're telling me golfers can't stay a few feet apart from each other and have to have fans there? There were just so many. I think it's silly. I think as a whole, we need to get back to living life before we may not have much left here. If we keep this shutdown going much longer, I think obviously we all have family, friends, and know people that are in the high risk, at risk, groups and categories of people. They need to be careful, safe, but the rest of us need to get back. We need to get out there playing baseball, golf, and we got to get back. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. I know a lot of people probably don't agree with it, but I know if I was a 80, 85-year-old grandparent at the time, right now, I would not want to risk not seeing my family. I would personally be like, look, give me a bourbon and a cigar, and if I go out with coronavirus, I go out. I ain't worried about it, but the rest of my family needs to get back to living and playing ball and doing what makes us America. We're the greatest country in the world.
And the sad part, and no, look, you can't win because we all know it's something, it's real. Whether look, it's been way too long to argue whether it's a lab or whether it came from this market. Everybody has their opinion, and frankly, there is evidence of exactly. It's there. It's real. We know that at this point. But I think even the one thing is it does affect the elderly, and I think a lot of and people that we care about and love, and all of us. That's true. The human race all has loved ones that are old, and we want nothing more than to be there for them on their side. However, a lot of those people right now in their 80s and 90s also fought for our freedoms to be able to challenge and fight and get through things and face tough times. And now, because of that, they're having to sit there and sort of be used as, hey, well, we don't want to hurt the old people. And they're saying, hey, a lot of people I've seen post say, get back to work. We're not going anywhere. Look, Coach K, Coach K. He's one of the very his viewpoints in the NFL and K. Stevenson. And he even said, look, I know this is dangerous for me. At his age and his health, he knows as a former, so he's not going to go out and do 100 things, but he told me today, we talked for about an hour on the phone, and he said, Chad, I would love for everybody to get back to work, my kids and other people that are 30 million people unemployed. He would love to see that. And I'm not saying this because it's rude that we're trying to kill people. No, social distance, be safe. But there's a way, too, to bring back sports without fans right now where healthy people are sitting on their couch and able to play. And for those people that say, well, you're thinking of sports before others. No, I'm not. I'm thinking of a lot of people's jobs. And that's something that we need to understand.
And that's what I don't get. It's like, look, we're I mean, I know we're getting off on politics, but we're risking another Great Depression here, which would kill millions. And this virus has no chance of killing millions here in this country. None. Especially if the categories, like you said, the elderly, the infants, those with respiratory issues are careful and safe. This virus has no chance of killing that many people, but a Great Depression will and would, and that's what we're risking. And I know, like I said, Coach Stevenson's a perfect example. He's got kids, grandkids. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to see them lose their jobs, lose their house, have trouble feeding their kids, like the woman in Dallas, for crying out loud. that got arrested, and she's like, I'm sorry, but trying to feed my kids is not selfish. And that's what we got to look at is, there are certain that should be careful, but most of us, look, for 99% of the population, this is not a very deadly disease at all.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't risk killing millions of people with a depression over this. Of course, we should be careful and do everything we could. Every life is worth saving. But I can tell you, if I was, like Coach, if I was 85 years old, I wouldn't be locked up in my house. I'd be going to Walmart, hoping I can still walk at that point. I'd be going and doing whatever I wanted to because look, if it takes me out, I'm out. But I'm not going to. Anyways, sorry to get on the soapbox.
Yeah, most people, if they go, and look, we've been essentially, I understand, Greg, and we could talk about it, for hours. We understand. And, the funny part I always say is for the politicians that are saying we need to stay safe, it would be easy to say, put your money where your mouth is, literally. I would love if just one of them out there, if somebody said, you know what, I'm going to give up my essential $200,000, $150,000 salary and join you all while they tell everybody else to stay put and lose their house and their mortgage and their payment and go bankrupt and suicide rates are going up, but they still are collecting their check at a higher rate and probably had stock tips more importantly than anybody else. That's the kind of stuff that if somebody stood up and did that, actions speak a lot louder than words, but not one person's going to do that. Greg, we do have to take a break to get out of here. So hey, I always appreciate it. Looking forward to talking a lot of Major League Baseball with you when we finally get back on the field. And it's always great to catch up with you.
Hey, I love being on with you guys, and especially right now, it gives me something to do from my couch.
That's right.
Before I run to the grocery store. I'm going to get, just so you guys know, I'm going to get a little crazy. I feel like a rebel because I actually go out in public without a mask on. So I'm a rebel.
Wild thing. Charlie Sheen out here. Out there you
go. there you go.
Greg, have a good one, my friend.
All right. See you guys. Thanks.
All right. We're coming back for more Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, Black TV.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
JP here. At ESPN Pensacola, we are hometown proud. Like the greatest pound-for-pound boxer of all time, Roy Jones Jr.
Three-time light heavyweight world champion and former heavyweight champion of the world, future Hall of Fame legend, Roy Jones Jr.
What up? It's your boy Roy Jones Jr. and you're listening to ESPN Pensacola.
An auto policy from State Farm gets you collision coverage. And this radio ad from State Farm gets you coverage of this beloved 90s hit.
I hit a car. I hit a car. I hit a car. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. My agent's gonna help me.
For more coverage, visit statefarm.com.
It's time for some straight talk. Even though most live sports are on hold now, big wireless companies haven't stopped playing games. They're always trying to lock you into overpriced contracts. With Straight Talk Wireless, there are no contracts. It runs on America's best network, same as the big carriers, but you save up to 50%. $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G. You might miss sports, but don't play games, you'll lose. Straight Talk Wireless. No contracts, no compromise.
Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
It's National Travel and Tourism Week, a week where we take a moment to honor our hospitality workers and the resilient industry they represent. Every year, visitors seeking the Pensacola experience generate over $1 billion in spending and wages, creating 19,000 plus travel-related jobs. Tourism is vital to our recovery, so when it's time for our economy to get back on the road, it's the spirit of travel that will fuel it.
football season never ends on Talk Football with Coach K.
Stidham is tearing it up at Nima. He may well be the incumbent to Tom Brady there.
Former head coach of the Buffalo Bills, Coach K brings his expertise as he breaks down the game, the players, the coaches, and the front office. Plus, high-profile interviews from the biggest names in football. Talk Football with Coach K every weekday from noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1.
The latest sports news is at ESPNpensacola.com and on Facebook at ESPN Pensacola. Plus, watch Chad Brilliante, Coach K, and Sports Call live on our exclusive YouTube channel, ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Talk football every day with Pensacola's own Coach K.
Credit a great performance by Garoppolo. And I love the way he throws the football. He's got all the things going for him.
Every weekday, noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM.
And welcome back. Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. Chad Brilliante, JP on the other side. Hank back at our network studio doing a great job. And right now, currently, we're looking at some of the things going on. One of the stories is the NFL schedules. They're expected to get released here coming up. We already know some of the matchups. I know New Orleans is headed to Las Vegas, baby, if they play. Viva Las Vegas in week 2, whenever that is, and an opportunity to get out there. Brand new stadium. They're putting a lot of money. Their Oculus board alone.
Well, week 1 they're
is going to be
the
pretty
Bucks.
sweet.
That's what people care
awesome.
about.
Yeah.
That's the big one.
Yeah.
You get it week 1. We didn't know we were waiting. We knew we were going to get them twice, but week 1, Coach K said that you can bet that that's in New Orleans. You're going to those New Orleans, the Saints fans, are going to be fighting to get in if you don't allow fans.
And they can't postpone it too long for that game because each day, Tom Brady and Drew Brees are getting closer to early bird special. That's dinner time right there. 12 o'clock noon. All noon games.
Taking shots.
All noon games at Brady and Brees this year. No 3:30s. Come back for more.
This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, Sports Call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Coming up on the Sports Drive, hope you've realized now it's Thursday and Mother's Day is only a few days away. Just want to help you remind yourself to get something this year. Mama's not going to be pleased.
Emmitt Smith has just become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. Across the middle, it is caught for the first. It's Baldwin shaking free and sprinting down the sideline for the touchdown, his third of the day. Doug Baldwin.
Derek Brooks, who ran back 3 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season, does it to cement the Super Bowl.
Boxing's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
Baldwin beaten. The result has come up on screens that Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American vest, 992 the Gatlin, 992 by the American champion to take gold.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket at Augusta. And this time, his name is Bubba. Scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmitt Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome back. Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. 6:02, Chad Brillante, JP, Hank back in the network studio in downtown Pensacola at Blab. And right now, we're about, hour? Is it 7 or 8? 7 o'clock, right?
7.
7 o'clock. 7 o'clock Central Time. We're an hour away from the schedules officially being released. It's something. I mean, I know this would have been probably more than likely a update on one of your apps, like your ESPN app, while we were at Thirsty Thursday for a Wahoo game. If this was normal time, that's probably what we'd be at. I'd be sitting there. We'd be probably chatting up a storm right now. I'd be getting ready. They'd be getting the field ready. People would be warming up. 6:35 first pitch. Actually, we wouldn't be doing any of that. We'd be right here doing our job. But if I was somebody out in the street today, I would be doing that. Yeah, perfect world. And then you would get the update and say, oh, look at that. Look at we're playing. That's great. Look at that, the incumbent. Well, we don't have Brady. That's awesome. All that. But instead, this has become something. The draft had 7 million more people at one point than any other draft, the second highest ranked draft. People want something. I posted a video. ESPN did too. ESPN did not know this sport existed. I'm not 100% sure it's not assault. It's just two big guys just powdering up and popping them right in the face with a hand slap. This guy slapped a normal dude too. You'd be out for weeks. They must have... Some dentist is sitting there like just every tooth in your butt. I mean, watch that video if you have not, people. There's on ESPN's posted, and I posted on my Facebook page, and it's also on our ESPN Pensacola. But guy just comes in with a massive hand slap, and these guys are like 6'5", 400 pounds, and they go back and forth. And the first one to get pretty much knocked out. It looks like it's in some foreign underground. This isn't even being like me going down a dark path of this or making it sound a lot worse. It actually is in like a basement in some country that I can't make out the letters. Like somewhere up in, Estonia or somewhere, and they're just down there crushing each other and screaming out, obscenities in language that we cannot understand. And they get even more scarier after they get hit like 9 times.
It's a gulag.
It's a gulag?
Things like that happen in a gulag where nobody's coming down in that gulag.
You a professor on this? What's a gulag?
Just trust me.
Trust you? You've been in this? You've had one of these guys with your beard. You might win after a couple hits. Start slicing up those fingers, get those paper cuts on there, man.
First rule.
Would you do this? How much would be the going rate on this?
Oof. To get slapped by that guy?
Like guys make $40 million a year, the best ones in the NBA, for playing in AC. Now it's hard, and they're incredible at what they do, freaks of talent. But how much would you get paid to have to do that?
I don't know. What are you offering? And I'll say yes.
I mean,
or no.
how many? First off, like going on the injured reserve list for like a week with like a sore ankle, you usually are probably laid up in some penthouse watching on like a movie projector. These guys look like on a bad day, they're getting buried in the dirt. It's gone to a whole new level with this thing.
You can only take one of these slaps a week. Like, there's no way.
I couldn't take one of them. Could crush you.
I would do it for an amount of money.
Yeah,
it may break my neck, but
at this point, people need to work, right? Get out there.
I'm just saying, it's you know what I make. But anyway, no, I don't know. I really don't know what the going rate would be. I would do it to get slapped by that big guy in that picture. I would do it for, you know what? This may be cheap, but give me $25,000. I'll do it. I may not be able to remember what the heck happened. I may be in the hospital for a while.
I saw something like this go down off W Street for, I think it was $60. Now, I'm not sure.
Not doing it for 60.
Okay.
I tell you, it may have been $60, but it wasn't that guy.
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't supposed to be there either. Looking at the situation right now with Jim Harbaugh, he talked about, or John Harbaugh, it was Jim, talking about
Rich,
or Phil, or Pete, or it was a Harbaugh. That's all you need to know. NFL wants draft flexibility for college football players. At this point, the current NFL rule states a player must be at least 3 years removed from high school before he enters the draft. The NCAA rule does not allow, though, players to return to college once they declare. I might be the minority on this, but I like that rule. I know a lot of people said that's not fair to the kids. I think it's called accountability, which they need to wake up and become adults. I think you're leaving your team high and dry, and you're saying adios. Now, here's the thing with this.
Yeah,
and the reason Nick Coe is a perfect prime example. I'm using him. He's now my next Felipe Franks in line. He's now on the list. He's your Eli Apple. He's not going to get away from this. But guys that leave your team, People that left teams in bowl games even.
Put me in a bad mood.
There's people that left their teams in bowl game. If you don't know Nick Coe, look, good, seemed like an okay kid. At Arkansas, at Auburn, when he was at Auburn, he was the kind of guy, though, that was pretty solid. He played next to Derek Brown, too, which you can get overlooked when you're playing next to a guy like that. Now, Coe decided to not play in the bowl game against Minnesota. And look, fans of the Tigers there, they wanted to see more than Minnesota in an Outback Bowl where full-grown adults dress as blooming onions and coconut shrimp. A very regrettable moment when your kids can see your face dressed with some mango salsa around you. But I have to say, for a guy like Coe, he says, I'm not going to play in the game. And he writes this letter to all of his, all the people. Auburn, thank you for the 3 amazing years. You are truly one of my favorites. Da-da-da-da-da. We love you so much. You're like family. And then he left before the game. So they're like, no, you left a lot of our juniors and seniors that we wanted to see you play another year. You didn't have to leave. You could have finished out the bowl game. And then he goes undrafted. But there's a lot of guys like that.
Then he ends up on the Patriots.
But yeah, he is. He's a Pat now. So, but
I hope he ends up making a tremendous play.
Oh, he could. He's actually, that's a steal to get him after the draft. I don't know. I bet it had a lot to do with the character issue.
Well, he was a projected third-round guy.
Yeah, he's a lot better than not going. But a lot of those GMs saw that, and it affects it. It affects the way you look at people when they leave their team in the final game. But Nick Coe is an example. But there's been a lot. James Wilder Jr. at Florida State, a lot of guys. And the one thing we know from being around a lot of scouts and a lot of people when we go to the Senior Bowl, these players know usually within about 20 picks. Unless it's one of these Jalen Hurts situations where nobody saw him being a second rounder. Even the Eagles, half their squad was like, what you talking about? What? Wait. You said the right guy? You said Jalen Hurts? We're in the second round, bro. Yeah, you heard me right. Gets that call. Ring, ring, ring. Pack your bags. But I think that most people understand that for a team like the Philadelphia Eagles, that was off the grid. Most times, within about 20 picks. Pro Football Focus, a lot of these places will scout you, 247 Sports. They know, a lot of them, they'll scout you to a point of you're a third rounder or a fourth rounder or a projected lottery pick. And it's usually not that far off. Quarterbacks is the one position where it can differentiate based on that if a team needs you. Like if a team didn't need a quarterback, you could go at 26 or you could go at 60 based on if a quarterback needed you or a team needed a quarterback. But for a situation like a guy that doesn't get drafted, at that point that usually, and the Coe situation's not a great one, but usually those guys are borderline 6th, 7th rounders that don't get drafted. And if you know that and you decide to leave, what we've done is we've opened up the door for no accountability. And I'm not one of these, I'm not going to protest with a sign over this. If they made the rule tomorrow that they allowed guys back to college, I'd be okay. I'm not going to be like, I can't believe. I don't think that. I'm giving you my opinion that I think what it would do is what's stopping every 3-year removed player from being draft eligible? Going out there hyping yourself up with pro days. You're like, dude, you're 6'1", $190 linebacker that plays at Eastern Michigan. You're not getting drafted. We'll see. Gets out there, buys his own suit, sets his own Facebook live kit. Who is this guy? What's this guy? Like the guy that put remember the guy that put the hat on in Cal? His name was Kevin Hart, which is pretty funny. But Kevin Hart put on a Cal Golden Bear. He had an Oregon, a Cal, could have been a duck. He had an Oregon, a Cal, and an Oregon State hat. And he's got the whole entire place on the Jamboree there cheering him on, clapping. And he puts on the Cal hat, and everybody goes crazy. Big guy, 6'3", 280. Well, Jeff Tedford, the coach of Cal, like 5 minutes later calls him like, we don't know this kid. He was on ESPN. They're like, we never heard of this kid. That's a fake. Just fraud. Completely cooked everybody at this Jamboree. One of the greatest fake, moments of all time, like Lene Kekua. But for all of that, you could just do that, and what's holding people back? Well, I want to hear your take on this because, like I said, I'm not going to lose sleep either way, but I actually think I'm in the minority on this one where most people think, yeah, just let him go back. But what is stopping everybody after 3 years from saying, you know what, I want to declare? And then nothing is going to – and what that's going to hurt is how are teams going to know who to draft? To recruit. Because if you think that guy's gone and then he comes back, you've already been going after a running back to fill his void. A guy like Coe, you know that Auburn was looking in to get that next D tackle, a 4 or 5-star, which they are already looking for guys. But a prime example, a quarterback or running back that does this, the team's going to be looking to replace that guy. And now he just is like, hey, I'm back, like from vacation with his bags. And they're like, well, crap. You know what I'm saying? I think accountability needs to be held, and it's a standard in this country that we need to start looking at as well.
Well, I think allowing players to enter the draft whenever they want to, I agree with you to the extent of, okay, these guys, listen, they think that they're good enough after their freshman year of college. Good luck, because the NFL is not, no offense, it's not Major League Baseball. It's not the NBA. It's not these other sports where you just run around and all this other stuff. These are grown men in their 20s and 30s running through you, trying to physically hurt you. We've seen this. It's only gotten worse. I mean, when you look at the strength of these guys. So if you think that you're ready at 18, 19 years old, I'm sorry, but you're really not. It's common sense. You haven't hit that peak yet. I mean, you know what? Maybe there's like that one guy, but I think overall when you look at this, 3 years, yes, 3 years is good. That's perfect.
Yeah.
I think that doesn't need to change. Now, allowing them to, if they go unselected in the draft, to go back.
Yeah.
I don't like that, but this is where I think that it can be okay. And I'm not sure a whole lot what happens in all these locker rooms and everything, but if you have guys that are interested in possibly going to the draft as a junior, then these teams should have people that go, and they should not be obviously related to the team because that could be crossing some wires here, but should have a guy from the NFL or whatever, whether it's an agent or whoever this guy is, and say, okay, let's get your grade. Let's see where you'd grade out right now. Let's see what your level would be. Let's see if you would be a third-round guy or if you would even make in the seventh round. Let's see that first. See where they grade. Go through scouts, let scouts, do whatever, do their kind of thing there. Okay, your grade comes back, and you're a sixth-round pick. Now, I'm going to tell you something. It says you're a sixth-round pick. You're probably not going to get drafted.
Yeah.
If they're saying you're that late, it's probably in your best common sense to come back for another year.
Yeah.
It's up to you, but I think if they would allow them to do that, and I don't know if they do or not. I don't know what the whole process is with that. I'm not sure how all that works, but if you got some juniors that are like, hey, I'm thinking about leaving, they declare for the draft, they go undrafted, bring them back. No, I agree with you. I think that's insane to do that because, listen, this whole transfer rule they're about to do, this whole paying players and all this other stuff, the NCAA is losing control. It is spiraling out of control. You allow players to do this. Now, people that say, well, it's what's right for the player. Is it right for the player, though? Is what's right for that player good for everybody else as well? Just because what's good for you at work, does that mean you do it and everybody else at your job suffers? No, like you can't be completely ignorant. Like that's where, look, let them go get tested, let them go find out where they would rank and all this other stuff amongst everybody else, get it graded out, and if they want to go still, if they're a sixth-round guy projected and they want to go, let them go. But make sure they understand you're not coming back. This whole coming back thing is insane to me. And you know what? This could all be for naught because the more I hear stories and I see stuff like this, it makes me think that, you know what, maybe these Power 5 conferences are thinking about moving on. Maybe they are thinking about getting away from the NCAA. That could be a reality in the next couple of years. And you know what? If they do that, then they're going to have free reign to do whatever they want. Nobody's going to be able to be in charge of them. But you know what? This comes back to the NCAA. The NCAA has zero control over people. They want to bow their chest, but when it's all said and done, people laughing at them right now because they don't know where to go. They have no guidance. Mark Emmert and those guys are disgraceful at what they're doing, and not just to college football, but to college athletics in general. Listen, set a standard and stand by it.
Yeah.
Quit getting bullied by everybody else. That's part of the problem in all this. If they would stand up and say, listen, you can go wherever you want to, but we're not going to pay you guys. And you can't just free transfer wherever you go. There's certain exemptions and things like that happen, but you're going to, look, we've had this rule where you sit out for a year, and we're not going to continue that rule. I don't care what you're saying right now. You don't like it? Go somewhere else. And look, I have much more respect for that. Whether you agree or you disagree, that's where I stand on it. Allowing a guy to go undrafted, declare for the draft, and then come back? Are you kidding me? What a slap in the face to the NCAA if they would ever allow this.
Who knows if our phone lines are working, but you can try 850-623-1330. If you get a busy tone or maybe Minnesota number, we're not sure, but
Milwaukee.
It is what it is. 850-623-1330. I think what we need to look at this is it's the timing of everything. For what I said, everything falls in timing. And think about testing the waters in your normal job. Let's say you just got a job as a guy that's going to be one of the hedge fund guys for a big firm. One of those jobs that you see that you always dream about, or you see a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, a penthouse suite, top of a New York skyscraper out there in a buttoned-up tie, pumping your chest, doing things that we don't condone to your kids at parties. But I will say, on yachts, but I have to say, nobody is going to allow you to get a job with Caldwell Baker and then go ahead and get a job with another place right down the road like Merrill Lynch. Nobody's going to let you go ahead and work for Bank of America as one of the top financial guys and then at the same time test the waters with Regions or test the waters with Gulf Coast Credit Union or go to Navy Federal. That's not real. You can't be a head coach of a team and still look for other jobs, and if it doesn't work out there, come back. We can't work here and then go down the road and go to 15 places and then say, let me have some time. I've left you guys, but after I get done with my 15 other places, I'm going to come back and sit here. It doesn't work that way. Everybody would laugh at that. Yeah, right. Nice try. But that's what we want from these athletes. And what's happened is we have set aside a standard where accountability means nothing. And at the same time, the timing of it goes back to with early signing period in December, most teams outside of some bowl teams, but a lot of teams are getting draft-eligible players like LSU's whole offense are in bowl games. So that date goes all the way to around New Year's outside of one or two teams. That gives the team during that crunch time, early signing period, they have to start replacing guys. And they know for the most part who's going. But those guys at that point have told everybody, hey, I'm going to the draft. They've already said, I'm going to the draft. Or even after that month of January, if you say I'm going to the draft and you're a borderline player, and you left as a junior and not a senior, and you left your team, one of the guys are like, you're really leaving us when you're a borderline 7th rounder to try to make a little? Or you can come back and be a star running back for us? If they make that decision, during that month, over the next 3 weeks, that team is going after that star player to fill his void in recruiting. So you have a bunch of guys busting it, spending a bunch of financials all over, alumni money, going out to try to get this star 5-star to come and replace him. Then he gets there, and then you wait 2.5 more months in a real, not 2020, but in a regular year. You got your spring games going on. You got your team showing up. And then, lo and behold, you don't get drafted. And then you call them back and say, I'm coming back. And this running back's been getting set. He's ready to go. He picked that school because they told him he could start. When this guy that thought he might have got drafted was a 1,500-yard guy, and if he comes back, you're going to get booed or lose your job if you don't put him on the field from a fan standpoint. And now he comes back and he takes your job. And people are fighting for this. So I know that you can take it any way you want, but I hope we both made some valid points where accountability, this is not just hey, we don't want a kid to have an education to come back. He made the choice to turn pro when he was borderline. If you're a lottery pick and you make that choice, and you'll get drafted, then something's happening behind the scenes we don't want to know, or I feel really bad for like the biggest April Fool's joke in the history of the world that you're in on. But these guys that live as 6th and 7th rounders that don't get drafted, Canadian football will call, used to be XFL. There are options. If you're a guy that is in that pool for the draft, there are options to play. You just might not want them, and you want to go back so you can be a star and move your way up. Accountability should mean something. We're coming back for more Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola and Blab TV.
What would you give for our babies? What would it take for you to show them how much they're worth? Did you know that thousands of premature babies die every year as a result of not getting their full 9 months? Hi, I'm Heather Headley. Join me in the March of Dimes in the fight to reduce premature births in our communities. Visit marchofdimes.com today. Saving our babies. There's nothing more worth it in the world.
From First Take to your radio.
Zion? 16 games. Okay, how many games do they have left? About 20? 22 games? All right, so he ain't gonna even reach 40 games. Damn it, I mean, this first year in the NBA, which he's getting paid for, it's like a college season to do. Give a damn about no back-to-back. You're 19 years old. 19 years old. All right, figure it out.
1 to 2 weekday afternoons on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Well, it's time to social distance in the perfect setting. Tiger Point Golf Club in Gulf Breeze puts the safety of their members and guests as their #1 priority. Each golfer has their own wipe-down individual cart as you play in paradise, overlooking a waterfront view for a round that costs $29 to play. Check it out for yourself. Go to tigerpointgolf.com and check out daily specials and all the precautionary measures they have taken to make sure you are safe during COVID-19. Call 932-1333 and book your tee time today at Tiger Point.
What if people had a battery level icon? Like on your phone? You'd see a lot of us in need of a recharge. Thank goodness there's 5-Hour Energy. Because just one sugar-free, vitamin-packed 5-Hour Energy shot can get you all the way back to 100% fast. And isn't life better at 100%? 5-Hour Energy. Get back to 100%. For more information, visit 5hourenergy.com.
Hear ye, I bringeth thee a message from... a message from the king and his new trumpeter, Stephen. The king wishes me to convey his favor to thine team and thine tailgate. Not yet. He invites thee to let the Bud Light flow forth. And he also wishes me to tell thee that he toasts thee. Waiteth until the end, Stephen! With game day's favorite light lager and the slogan of his kingdom... Oh, Dilly Dilly!
Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Like all of us, small businesses are being impacted by these uncertain times, but we will get through them together. When you can, please try to support your local restaurants, bars, or any other establishments that are still open for carryout or delivery. The following businesses continue to serve their communities and customers by remaining open and need your support.
Mr. Poyo in Pensacola, open for pickup.
We do sports, and that's all we do. We're your hometown sports station, ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
And welcome back, Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. 850-623-1330 is the number. Looking right now at some of the stuff we talked about with Giannis Antetokounmpo. Look, this guy seems like a good guy. He was coming on. He was the MVP of the league last year. Only getting better. He is a freak of nature. He's got like a 7'5" wingspan, can play point guard and center, can do it all. Only thing that we haven't tested yet, can he have a consistent jump shot in the big game? And does he have that extra it factor? If anyone's watched The Last Dance or Kobe, yesterday was pretty cool. 1998 All-Star game. Kobe Bryant, 19-year-old kid, coming in his first All-Star game. Michael Jordan coming off his 6th ring. 6-0 in NBA Finals. Getting to meet right there in the 98 NBA All-Star game. Pretty cool. That was a pretty cool moment. And I'm watching that game. You had Shaq Diesel when he was like half the size. Shaq Dinafu out there. Still breaking backboards. It's fun to watch. But then at the same time, those guys, you knew they're going to turn that it factor to a whole new level. Freak mode, baby. We call him the Greek Freak, but in the playoffs, he's never won anything yet. And I'm not saying, look, Patrick Mahomes, Giannis, these guys have a long time in their careers to prove whether or not that they're going to be elite. But to be an all-time great, especially at basketball or a quarterback in football, but mainly basketball, because it's played with 5 and not defense and offense and so many positions out there in football. If you're a star player in basketball and you got just a little bit of help, it's on your shoulders. And I'm not sure if Giannis is ready, but the NBA right now, first off, it's not playing. And secondly, I think he has a shot. Do you see him as an elite player, by the way, before we get into somebody hacking into his account and completely butchering the things that he clearly did not say?
I mean, elite as in MJ?
No. Well, no, he's not.
Okay, because
I'm talking elite for.
There's only a few people
that,
in this entire world of the entirety of the sport that could ever say that.
Probably Kobe and LeBron are the only guys.
He's elite. I mean, for people that want to, I get what you're saying with the whole, what has he won? But
I said yet. I'm not. I
know,
it, yeah.
But still, look at what he's been able to do, and let's take him away. All right, here we go. Take him away from the Bucks. Are the Bucks still successful? Are the Bucks still the Bucks?
No,
not at all. And that's where the difference is. That's where I go, okay, let me take this guy away from this team. How do they look? Can they still win plenty of ball games? I don't think the Bucks can, just because of how dominant he is and the attention he draws every night. And look, he's still 25 years old. He's still got plenty of time, of course. But I think he's elite. I think, you know what? Look at Kevin Durant and those guys. They get put on teams with superstars. Put Giannis on the team with the Warriors back then. Swap Kevin Durant and Giannis and go look at what they're going to do. I mean, I'm sorry. It's one of those that the NBA now has gotten to, look, we all enjoy watching it. But I miss the days back when I was younger of when teams would have the one superstar on their team and they battle it out. And it was more about the team instead of you've got these superstars of a lineup like the Warriors had and like what the Lakers are building and things like that. Look, I'm not against it. It's fun to watch, like I said. But Giannis is on a team where, he has some guys around him that can help him. But he doesn't have those elite guys. Look,
you're right. Yeah.
LeBron, in the times that LeBron won, LeBron had Wade and guys like that. I'm not taking anything away from LeBron because LeBron did put teams on his back. It's just no doubt. But LeBron's one of those players that you put up there with MJ. LeBron's one of those players you put up there with Kobe. Guys like that. But you look at Kobe, you look at Shaq. I mean, they're not taking anything away from Kobe, but Giannis, who's with Giannis?
He's got to – and first off, I think if NBA basketball gets going again in June, July, whenever – don't think June's an option right now, but let's say July or August or whatever they end up going back out in the court and playing NBA basketball with or without fans. I think right now we know, to me, it's coming through L.A., the city of L.A., whether it's the Lakers or Clips. And then Milwaukee's got a great record, but you have to have somebody that goes into go mode. Look, LeBron James at times, he wasn't the best player on the court, but Dwayne Wade was, and he was that elite. If Giannis is having a bad day, Chris Middleton can make some shots. Chris is a good shooter, but Chris Middleton's not taking over a game. He's not saying ISO. Brook Lopez isn't telling people to clear the court. DiVincenzo's not telling people off the bench to do. Greg
can't understand anyway.
So this is not happening. They've got a solid roster, really solid roster. And Budenholzer learned a ton from Popovich.
There it is.
And there he is. Yeah, 53-12 record. They got a great, but they're beating teams. They're taking out. They're consistent. When you have coaches like Pop and these other guys, they get them up every night. When there's other coaches that they might have partied too that night and their team loses and all they care about is one thing, winning a title. Now, they're good coaches, but there are some teams that care less about the regular season. They know they're going to get to that next level. Milwaukee every night plays like it's a championship game, but all I'm saying with Giannis is I think he's got the tools. He's got things that no other athlete in the history of the game can do. I mean, when you talk about MJ dunking from the free throw line and other people, Giannis can actually not jump like one of these characters from Stretch Armstrong and dunk from the free throw line almost, the way he looks and the way he plays. The difference is people are still giving him 5 to 6 feet sometimes on jumpers. He can get hot, but in the playoffs you have to have that game where when you're going to get double teamed as you are. Kawhi Leonard had it. And Kawhi Leonard, when he wasn't the main guy, when Duncan and Robinson, all the guys were in San Antonio, Ginobili and Parker, he faded back and he was a great player. He won Defensive Player of the Year. Now he goes to Toronto and these other teams and he had to become the man. And he was the man and more. And it could be argued he's the best player currently right now in the NBA, if he's coming back healthy especially. But the shot he made over Embiid to win against the one that hits off the back iron and goes in. Giannis, to me, I'm not saying he can't do that. I'm just saying I'm looking forward to seeing if he can. That's what I'm saying right now. I believe that he has capabilities, but so far it's not fair for me to say that he's going to be one of the all-time greats without proving that first step. Patrick Mahomes, for everybody saying, yeah, he was a really solid quarterback, no. He's the best quarterback right now in the NFL. And to me, I would have a hard time somebody arguing that. Whether you think Lamar Jackson, Tom Brady, even Drew Brees right now, Patrick Mahomes, what he does is insane how good in the comebacks and what he did. Without him, they would have been eliminated quick from the playoffs, down 10 twice and down 24 last year to teams. 24-0.5. And I will tell you, though, Mahomes has proven that. I'm not giving this guy the accolades because he likes ketchup or was a 5-7 quarterback at Texas Tech. Or he talks like Kermit the Frog. None of this. Because I watched him play, and he's that good. He makes plays, and he only gets better. You don't expect him to make bad throws. And when he did make bad throws against San Francisco, against the number 1 ranked defense, where he shook it off and he threw a pick, what did we all do? We were all like, what the heck's wrong with Mahomes? That's just called second down for Jameis. I mean, some people understand that these throws that people are making, you got to sit back and go, he's that good right now. Am I saying he's going to be the greatest of all time? He has the potential. He still has a long way to prove that. But he proved that first step, winning a title. Giannis is under that Lamar Jackson boat right now. Did I look really good? Did I win an MVP? Yeah. But Lamar Jackson has to win a playoff game before we talk about him as one of the great quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's fair. I'm not saying I wouldn't love to have the guy on my team. Great quarterback. He was MVP for a reason. But Giannis Lamar, you have to prove yourself to at least that first level, that first hump, before people deem you as one of the greats. And nobody has yet. But for Giannis, I'm just wondering if people think he has it. Because some people have it and they don't. And other people are good regular season. James Harden's tried for a long time now. And when Chris Paul got hurt, where the sun don't shine, that team quickly started to helicopter and spiral out of control. And he averages 36, 10, and 10 almost every year. I mean, going insane. But he has not proven yet that he has that extra level to win a title. And I think that's fair to say for a guy like that.
I love Giannis. I think he is. He's one of the best players in the NBA. I think he will be one of the best players. But remember, there are a lot of players that go down as greats that didn't win championships.
Will his tweets affect his legacy?
No, of course not. No, because those are unbelievably not him.
Clearly not.
And you know what? Giannis is a guy that everybody likes, too. That's another thing that goes into this is he's a phenomenal player on the court. But look.
Which Antetokounmpo on that team? Isn't it?
I don't even like saying that last name. But look, he's a guy that everybody likes. He's a great media guy. He's fun to talk to. And just the way he plays, the energy and things like that. This is a guy that doesn't believe he's greater than the game. And I think that's important. When you look at guys like James Harden, they're a little bit different sometimes. Guys like Russell Westbrook, yeah, they're good people. I'm not saying they're bad people, but how they're portrayed, they're almost like a villain. And you know what? They embrace that. Giannis is just a guy that goes out and continues to play each and every day. Fun, just calling him Giannis and trying to say his last name, especially if you've had a couple drinks. Good luck. Cannot do it. But no, I think he will go down as one of the greats. I know it's early, but I think I'm willing to say that early. I think that, look, something's going to happen in the NBA where this could actually happen in the next year or so. The Bucks, if they don't build talent, like put real deal talent around him to win a championship, I know guys like Kawhi took over. Some guys respond differently. That's where, you know what, Giannis, Kawhi's 28, Giannis is 25. Give him another year or two. We'll see if he stays with the Bucks. I don't think he's going to be with the Bucks. I think he's going to move on. I think that, look, he's going to probably go to the West Coast where we see guys like this do, whether it's the Lakers or he's going to go to the Clippers or maybe he goes to the Warriors. Who knows? I think it's only a matter of time before he gets on one of those super rosters because people know how good he is and he knows that's a deciding factor. And if he gets on one of those rosters, like I said, I'm against that kind of stuff, but no doubt that they're going to win championships. And then people are going to change the tune because remember when Durant went over there and they're like, yeah, the only way he wins a championship is when he goes over there and plays with the Warriors, a stacked lineup. Of course, doesn't matter. He's still look at how he is looked at now.
Yeah.
People don't care. They talked about it then. They don't care now that he's over there with the Nets and he's the $110 million question. I think that's going to be Giannis.
Well, today he clearly is a day he would like to forget. He probably was not online when he did this. I would almost 100% guarantee this is not him, or there were some demons in his closet that we had no clue just got unleashed. I'm just going to be safely saying this guy went so far that the hack didn't even look true. If he was like, as a Greek, I just want to say all the Americans are beep. Like you might be like, all right, he's being a little offensive here. How dare him? Right before, but he starts off by, I'm going to say what I can, but diagnosed with corona. I hate Asian people. This is not me. I'm reading the tweet that was hacked. piece of blank, and I'll just use the word Chinaman. That was one of them. And then you had the Peter Griffin, whoa. Hold the tune. The whole Peter Griffin burner was on there like, you got to calm down. What's happening? So at that point, we thought maybe that was, okay, this is a little over the top, but clearly you've been hacked. Then from that point on, I blanked your wife, Steph Curry, a word that I'm not even going to try, the N-word, and then the Bucks are a racist team. They call me blank. They call me slave. I don't score 60 points a game. My life is, you know what? I'm going to be a warrior with a couple of praise emojis.
There you go. Maybe it was him.
And then blank Kobe Bryant. So this is all of this path that obviously no human that actually is still breathing with a heart would go down this evil of a path, I'd hope. I mean,
not even
the worst trolls, I hope, would go down. You pretty much hit on like almost anybody that wants to come at you with a pitchfork. You went after someone's wife. You called somebody a word that you just don't use, especially just blatantly. You said that a basketball team was pretty much owning you as a slave, and you also said that a guy that just passed, who's a legend of the game, you just gave him a middle finger. None of that. And then you also just made fun of the coronavirus and a whole entire country. So I believe at this point he's been hacked. I would go out and say,
if you believe otherwise, get out of here.
It's on his blue check mark. Now, when we say this isn't like some satire page. Somebody got onto his blue check mark, 1.1 million followers, and did this. So
they also hacked his bank accounts too.
This isn't the real REEL with like a fishing rod Antetokounmpo, and it clearly doesn't have a blue check mark. This is his account. Somebody got on there. You think I was like a ticked-off girlfriend or someone crushed him? Someone got his bank account too?
Yeah.
That doesn't prove whether it's a hacker or a real pissed-off girlfriend either. I mean, that's not – but somebody,
I mean, the way things are with technology now, these guys are –
we've both been hacked in the last couple of weeks. So
yeah, I was just the other day.
Mine was an Uber ride in California, apparently.
Joke's on him.
Yeah.
I think he should have put money in there.
Yeah. I joked with the lady on the phone. Her name was like Cheryl, or I think it was Kimberly. Hello, this is Kimberly. It was not a Kimberly. Now, I talked to her. No, it was not a Kimberly.
Shameful.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't at all.
Are you getting hacked right now? Is it you making these comments?
No, I'm not. She might actually. Kimberly might come at me, whoever. But they looked at like $12 Uber rides, and the lady was pretty much saying, how do I know this was you? I was like, ma'am, do you see like a $1,200 ticket for me to fly from where I was at Tasty Freeze down here getting ice cream in the middle of the panhandle of Florida, and then 2 minutes later I was Ubering in California? Can you see that on there? Can you add up? And she's like, okay, we have to verify. I was like, I got more tricks up the sleeve if I can be in California in 2 minutes from having ice cream with my family on the card. So,
impressive.
And she's like, okay, I guess that wasn't you. I was like, yeah, no, it wasn't me, Kimberly. We're coming back. I got all my money. Coming back for more. That's the moral of the story. I won.
Pensacola's own NFL Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith has some tips for us during this time.
This fight is up to all of us to try to help bend that curve. It's going to take teamwork. It's going to take us to stay committed, stay focused, and stay dedicated to the mission at hand, and that is to keep everyone safe. So be encouraging. Find some support. Find someone to talk to every day to encourage them to keep on continuing in this fight. And we will beat this pandemic.
Pensacola's own NFL Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith has some tips for us during this time.
This fight is up to all of us to try to help bend that curve. It's going to take teamwork. It's going to take us to stay committed, stay focused, and stay dedicated to the mission at hand, and that is to keep everyone safe. So be encouraging. Find some support. Find someone to talk to every day to encourage them to keep on continuing in this fight. And we will beat this pandemic.
For ESPN Pensacola Ridiculous Facts, I'm JP. Rumor has it a baseball game in the Atlantic League in 1893, a batter broke his bat and grabbed an axe as it was the only thing to swing around and hit the next pitch in half, where half of the ball went over the fence and they won 2.5-2 in the 11th inning. Quite the walk-off. The home team must provide the referee with 36 footballs for each National Football League game. Just be sure to check the PSI if the Patriots are supplying the footballs. That's your ESPN Pensacola Ridiculous Facts. I'm JP. JP here. Everyone here at ESPN Pensacola wants to send a shout out to our first responders and healthcare workers at this time. We know it's tough, but we appreciate the work you put day in and day out. We also want to thank our essential workers out there for helping all of us continue to live our lives as normal as possible in this time. For our community, keep rocking it. We are going to get through this. Remember, we were named the #1 strong town in America. That wasn't by accident. We have seen so many people step up and do their part, and we thank all those people for their efforts. We will be stronger for this, and together, we will beat COVID-19.
Welcome to Mode!
Okay, hi, what are we doing today?
I need something that screams something fun. Nothing too on the face, nothing too off the face, but also totally hot.
So I have the perfect thing. It's the most food mullet. You're totally business in the front, but tailgate in the back. It's a fat party. People are having fun. You know, snap. All your friends are going to be like, whoa, awesome setup. Everyone else is going to be all jelly, okay?
Just like a killer mullet, Moe's Catering will turn the back of your ride into a tailgate party that's sure to turn some heads. Just order ahead and pick it up on your way.
Moe's Southwest Grill, now open in Pace on Highway 90 next to Publix grocery store.
JP here with Talk Football and the Sports Drive. At ESPN Pensacola, we're hometown proud. We love our hometown heroes like Super Bowl champion and NFL Hall of Famer Derek Brooks.
The Super Bowl, and they're trying to win it for us. 3rd down, 18. Dropping Gannon, looking Gannon. Throws up the middle. It's intercepted at the 40. Derek Brooks 30. Brooks to the 25, 20. Derek Brooks all the way.
This is former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Washington High School alum, Derek Brooks. You listen to ESPN Pensacola.
This is Davis Allen from Sports Call with Davis and Justin. You're listening to the Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Looking for a better way to get up out of bed instead of getting on the internet and checking a new hit. Me get up, first shot, hip strut walking, a little bit of humble, a little bit of cautious, somewhere between like Rocky and Cosby's for the game. Nope, y'all can't copy up. Glad moonwalking, and this here is our party. My posse's been on Broadway, and we did it all way. Chrome music, I shed my skin and put my bones into everything I record to it. And yeah, I'm on. Let that stage light go and.
And welcome back, Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Looking right now at UFC fight coming up here. We got a fight. You going to be watching? Heck yeah. It's pay-per-view. Come on. That's good. Still trying to make the money. Make that money.
UFC, baby.
Yeah. I know.
Justin Gaethje, by the way. I looked that up.
Gaethje, yeah.
Yeah, Gaethje. I know we talked about it the other day, but yeah, Gaethje.
Yeah. Just for everybody out there before you butchered.
Big Ferg and Gaethje.
Yeah, Big Ferg and Gaethje right there.
Fergie.
Gaethje and Fergie. 21-2. Versus 26-3. Should be a good one. It's a close fight too. Ferguson's a favorite by a slight margin at -170. So it's. I mean, this is going to be. Usually, you get fights. If that title fight, you'll get -300, 400. You know, that's in the realm to compare it to football. If anybody doesn't know how to judge that gauge, where the gauge is on that, I would say that gauge would be around -300. Is like if it's a -7 or a -8 spread in football. So it's equivalent to the Saints at home.
Uh-oh, math.
No.
Uh-oh.
Saints at home versus Carolina.
Bucks.
With Cam. Like a couple years ago when New Orleans would play Cam, it would be like -8. NFL has some crazy.
By the way, Cam came out and said that he's willing to be a backup.
Did he really?
I love how that changed. That whole tune changed now.
Was that him or was it the hacker with
it
Giannis?
Was him. No, it was not.
Giannis hacker's on a roll right now.
Yeah.
I did not say that.
No, Cam said that. And look, the only place now. Didn't it have to be Jacksonville? I mean, isn't that the only
Haven't
place?
We said that for years, though, and Jacksonville doesn't ever pull the trigger? I mean, think
well,
about it. Didn't we say that? And I'm not saying it was the right move if they did it, but remember when Tim Tebow, when they had nobody at quarterback, literally, and they were like, Tebow makes sense right now. And I understand that Caldwell, their GM, did not want to do anything. And he didn't want to change his whole offense. But from a ticket sales and from everything that was holy with that area in Gainesville and Jacksonville, they would have sold out. They would have had block parties around the stadium at the Landing for that game if Tebow was quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like, marketing move, it would have been the best in the history of the world for them to be able to do that, and they decided to go south when they could have. And so when Jacksonville has something in front of them, they don't always.
Well, apparently they're going to be, you know what? I take it back because they made a Jaguar King bobblehead.
Oh, there you go.
With Gardner Minshew.
Gardner Exotic. Oh, look at him right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. Carol Baskin's
So you can they're
ex-husband
giving
there.
that away at one of their games, and it's also you can buy one for $45. So if anybody wants to buy us one for $45, there you go. Send it here.
Jackson is their mascot right there.
What?
Jackson. He's the mascot.
Yeah, sure.
Nice guy. The hot tubs. Would you get in that water?
Nope.
Cash it's, man.
It's like in Arizona. No.
Better chance. Take your risk of walking through a subway, if you could go back in a time machine, in late February in New York, or jump in that hot tub and swim through the water. Like hold your breath. At the jacket. Subway, you take this.
Yeah.
Eat fresh.
Because the whole water, that goes through me, like goes through your body. It can get in your ears or whatever. No thanks. I don't want what they're cooking up in that hot
But that
tub.
seems more disgusting than the other one could lead to just a couple weeks for our age, more than likely.
Sick. I'll take getting sick.
We
compared
did.
to
We did.
Something getting inside me. No, thank you. No. Well, no part of that. I don't know. I'm not going to move any.
Jacksonville, though. Where do you put the gauge meter right now on Cam? Over under half, or right there, 50-50?
Yeah, it has to be. I would think. I mean, where else? Because he wants to go somewhere to compete for that spot, but he understands now with everything set up. And look, for Jacksonville, they've talked about adding Marone, even left space. He came out and said he left space to add a veteran quarterback. Foles is gone, so they got rid of that contract. You could bring in a guy like Cam, which would be a good move. I love Gardner Minshew as a person. It's fun, the whole Minshew mania. I don't know if he's the guy, and for people, look, he was a 4th-round pick, okay? He wasn't supposed to be the guy. Let's go back. Like, yes, Jarrett Stidham was not necessarily supposed to be the guy when New England drafted him. They didn't go, that's the guy after Tom Brady's gone. They said, okay, that could be a guy. We like him a little bit. We'll draft him right now. We'll see what happens. So Minshew's the same way. I mean, I like what he's done, but it's not exactly the greatest situation. I think for the Jaguars right now, I don't know. I mean, I think it's got to be Cam, because where else can he go right now to truly compete for a starting job? You could say, well, the Redskins, okay, but the Redskins brought in Kyle Allen as well. They also have Dwayne Haskins. If they were going to bring in Cam, they would have brought in Cam instead of Kyle Allen.
Mm-hmm.
That was the telltale sign there. I don't think there's anywhere else. There's, the Chargers. Well, the Chargers drafted Justin Herbert. They got Tyrod Taylor. They're going to groom Justin Herbert for that job. So they're good there. I mean, where else does he go? Is there another team that you can think of right now that he could truly is in a spot that needs a quarterback to battle for a spot? I mean, I still think personally he could go to Chicago and battle out with Nick Foles and those guys, and he could still win that job. But I don't know of another team. I really don't. Nothing comes to mind right now.
I don't know if we want to root for certain people. And Gardner Minshew reminds us of everybody that if you had like the cool time at the Sabine during Blue Angels week, or you were in a fraternity or a sorority and you had the guy that was about to tap the keg and everybody hugs him and then the music plays, and he's that guy. He's that guy. And he's not the guy that like bullies the one kid or hazes that kid. He's the guy that like everybody likes. Hey, everybody gives hugs. We all like Gardner. The kid that hangs out at the book club and then goes out and he throws 4 touchdowns. He's just one of those nice bros. Country bro, man.
Six stash.
You see him
headband.
driving out of the game on a Harley with that headband with an eagle on his shoulder. And he lets the eagle go, and as he's leaving, he feeds him too.
He's like white man can't jump.
He is. But so we all wanted to root. And what did he start? He won 2 games or something to start. And we're all like, whoa! He took over. Nick Foles didn't work out for a few games and injuries, and we immediately jump into our conclusions. And then we realize they get beat by L.A. Chargers by 35. He gets beat by the Bucs by 17. Gets beat by the Falcons by 12. Like, it wasn't a storybook season. They end up going, what, 6-10 last year, 5-11? So, and he was the guy. He was the quarterback.
21 touchdowns, 6 interceptions,
the stats
3,000
aren't bad.
yards. Passer rating's pretty good. Completion 60%. But
they're a run-first
to,
team, too.
Well, yeah. It goes back to, well, how much they win. That's what everybody wants. And you know what? That's where I look, he came – people forget he came out of Washington State, where he do nothing but throw the football. So no better for a guy to play quarterback than come out of a league like that, or to come out of an organization like that. But
yeah.
If he was on another team, people would have more confidence in this guy if he had those numbers coming out of somewhere else. If he played for the Raiders, if he played for
he
Chargers.
Was a 6th-round pick too from Washington State. So I'm not going to. I mean, he needs a little more time. And first off, the Jags don't have a lot of help a lot of supporting cast.
But that's what I'm saying here is if he's on another team, you go, you know what? 21 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, over 3,000 yards in his starts. Yeah, I believe in this guy, but he plays for the Jags, and that does not help you at all.
Record still, though, for a quarterback, because the game moves with your decisions. If you're down 21-0, then it takes a Patrick Mahomes 24-0 to score 28. If you go 3 and out real quick and then punt, and they run 6 minutes off the clock and go into half, then you didn't do what the elites do. And not, like I said, this doesn't all fall on Gardner. I'm not ready to give up on him.
Well, half their team wanted to leave during the season, too. So.
I think this is perfect scenario for Cam Newton, because Cam is also hurt, where it'd be easy to say, Cam, if you don't work out, we're done. Go with Minshew. And Minshew's fine because Cam doesn't have 20 years left anyway. And, like the grooming of a Jameis Winston, you might have a chance to play next season or this year. We're coming back for more Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola and Blab TV.
It's probably going to be a hot summer. Is your air conditioning system ready? Air Care Wizard is here to help. Whether you need routine maintenance before the season really kicks in, or if you need to replace your system, they also install the Roam Halo Induct Air Purifiers, which uses ultraviolet lights and peroxide to help keep the air in your home clean and to help eliminate viruses. Call Air Care Wizard today, 471-9400. At Air Care Wizard, they care about your air.
What would you give for our babies? What would it take for you to show them how much they're worth? Did you know that thousands of premature babies die every year as a result of not getting their full 9 months? Hi, I'm Heather Headley. Join me in the March of Dimes in the fight to reduce premature births in our communities. Visit marchofdimes.com today. Saving our babies. There's nothing more worth it in the world.
Looking for future leaders we can believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Florida. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It includes learning to listen, accepting responsibility, being a good role model, and it's about respect. The result, it transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. This message presented by the Florida High School Athletic Association and the Florida Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
JP here. At ESPN Pensacola, we are hometown proud. We love our hometown heroes like Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawk Doug Baldwin.
They fake, little lob, wide open, touchdown, Doug Baldwin.
Bigger body that Wilson likes to throw to, big target. Here's Baldwin, smaller target, and he ducks in for the touchdown.
Hi, this is Doug Baldwin, and you're listening to ESPN Pensacola.
JP here. At ESPN Pensacola, we are hometown proud. Like the greatest pound-for-pound boxer of all time, Roy Jones Jr.
Three-time light heavyweight world champion and former heavyweight champion of the world, future Hall of Fame legend, Roy Jones Jr.
What up? This is your boy Roy Jones Jr. and you're listening to ESPN Pensacola.
Football season never ends on Talk Football with Coach K.
Stidham is tearing it up at New England. He may well be the incumbent to Tom Brady there.
Former head coach of the Buffalo Bills, Coach K brings his expertise as he breaks down the game, the players, the coaches, and the front office. Plus, high-profile interviews from the biggest names in football. Talk Football with Coach K every weekday from noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1.
Like all of us, small businesses are being affected and impacted by these uncertain times. But we will get through this together. When you can, please try to support your local restaurants, bars, or any other establishments that are still open for carry-out or delivery. The following businesses continue to serve their communities and customers by remaining open, and they need your support.
Moe's Southwest Grill, open for pickup and delivery.
It's going down. I'm yelling timber. You better move. You better dance.
Welcome back. Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Thanks for tuning in. For all the folks out there on Blab TV tonight, be safe out there if you're heading out. Back getting some restaurants, 25%. See people lined up. I'm like, people really want to go there. And then I look inside and all chairs are empty. They're just allowing like one person at a time. feel really bad for those people that have like a closet-size restaurant, like 4 seats. Just one of the family members can come in. Just how it is. Hopefully we get back to it. JP, hope you have a great rest of your night.
Yep.
Thanks for everybody on Blab TV, for Hank and all the folks out there. Enjoyed it. God bless.
Swing your body round and round, and then the night is going down. One more shot, another round, and then the night is going down. Swing your body round and round, and then the night is going down. One more shot, another round, and then the night is going down.
It's going down. I'm yelling timber. You better move. You better dance. Let's make a night you won't remember. I'll be the one you won't forget. It's going down.
Here are your ESPN Pensacola headlines. Taking a look here on the Sports Drive. Bryce Harper, no major leaguers in Olympics is dumb, he says. So is getting paid $400 million to leave 1 year before the team wins the World Series. Oh, no, but you know what? You weren't going to play anyway this year. Let's just put it that way. NCAA calls Kansas violations egregious and severe, facing some penalties if college hoops comes back after the season ending this year. Kansas was the number 1 overall seed, according to Joe Lunardi, before the season ended for March Madness. Jim Harbaugh advocating rule change for the NFL draft to allow players to come back if they make the decision after 3 years. Also, talking about the mental aspect of return, as many in the NBA talk about the psychological effect and not having fans in the stands. Look, we're all going to have to make sacrifices on this. Do you want to play or not? It's not going to be normal. It's just not going to be normal for a little while in sports. But do we want sports? Korean baseball is teaching us how to pronounce some names.
Mo Chang-min.
And that they can make it happen. Good camera angles. Good camera angles.
All-star. Mo Chang-min.
Stop this 4:30 game charade. So, looking as well, UFC fights will go on unless Dana White's going to put somebody in submission if they cancel it right before on Saturday. But big fights coming up here as Ferguson and Gaethje will fight it out. Then in the matchup as well, the announcement being made, the Raiders will debut versus the New Orleans Saints on Monday Night Football. How about that right there in the new Las Vegas Stadium? It'll be a September 21st Monday Night Football against the New Orleans Saints regular season debut on ESPN. That's going to be a fun one right there. Maybe the Raiders will find their quarterback. Who knows?
Mo Chang-min.
This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, sports call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening